Back into the swing of things with another incredible card, live from the origin of the promotion, Price, Utah. This is Fierce Challenger Series 15, presented by R&R Barbecue. Hi everyone, Blake O'Ruin alongside my broadcast partner Andrew Boquette. Andrew, so good to be back in the place where this whole thing started 9 years ago. Fierce Fighting Championship grown a lot over a near decade.
Yeah, it's really funny because Price is sort of this small town, right? But so much MMA history has taken place out in the city.
Jason Ergel, Hal Mitchell go toe-to-toe in our main event. Jason Ergel been on fire over the past couple of years. 4 straight wins, 5 out of his last 6. A lot of the attributes filling in as the pro debut beckons on him.
Man, how many times have we heard about Jason Ergel making his pro debut? He's one of those kids where his dad is been a big focal point in the MMA community for a long time. He's always talked up his son, and now we get to see, is this going to happen or is it not?
Hal Mitchell moves up a couple of weight classes in order to get this main event spot. The co-main event plays appetizer as well. Chris Falau alongside Drake Anderton. Anderton moving up a weight class for a second consecutive title opportunity. Chris Falau, 3 straight emphatic knockout finishes.
Man, I was telling you before the show got started, I didn't think those boys looked that big, and then Chris Falau walked by me, and I was like, no, that's a big Polynesian.
Well, we got some knees and elbows to play out before we get to the MMA side of things with David Andrews and Alex Leva. But before any of that, we're going to go ahead and send it to the screen to give you a sneak peek into what to look forward to tonight at Fierce Challenger Series 15.
Oh yeah, you guys know how I love Price, Utah.
She's doing everything right.
This kid is really, really difficult to deal with.
Could be queuing up for a rematch in a few minutes.
Brendan Myers back on top. Jason Ergel has done it.
And this guy's got some hands, and he's got power in his hands.
Trying to get under the chin. She does. Hannah Silva mounts the comeback.
That was an impressive performance.
Tuning into the pay-per-view. And for those of you here in attendance in Price, Utah, welcome to the Fierce Fighting Championship Challenger Series. Tonight's event is sanctioned by the Pete Suazo Utah Athletic Commission with Executive Director Scott Bowler in attendance. Dr. Cabot Murdoch is also K-side this evening, along with timekeeper Tracy Patillo. And scorekeeper Dawson Burnham. The judges for the evening are Stephen Farragher, Dennis McMahon, and Dan First, and the referee in charge when the fights begin will be Dave Selyestead. Fierce fans, we are moments away from our first fight of the evening, but at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your caps as we honor our country with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome an extremely talented vocalist and Fierce Fighting Championship ring girl, Andrea Woodmansey.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Give it up for Andrea Woodmansey. Fierce fans, we have now arrived to what you all came here to see. 24 mixed martial artists, 12 total fights, including 2 rematches and 1 title fight for one Fierce Fighting Championship evening. So Fierce fans, Let the fighters in the back know that you are here. Put your hands together and make some noise! Our first fight of the evening is sponsored by Rockwell Watches. They sincerely hope your Rockwell watch serves as a reminder of a time when you could proudly say, "Watch me." Use promo code FIERCE20. That's promo code FIERCE20. They don't just tell time, they tell a story at Rockwell Watches. Also, the Monster Truck Militia is coming to Price, Utah on September 13th. Stop by the Rockwell booth this evening for your tickets and go to monstertruckmilitia.com prior to the big September 13th event. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome our very first two fighters, David Andrews and then Alex Leyva, to the cage.
First of many to hear their music tonight is David Andrews. Andy jumping into the deep end with a Muay Thai debut, but the one-hit squad sees something in him.
Yeah, he certainly picked a great walkout song. Got some Nas coming out. I feel like this song bodes well for his performance, to be honest. It's that good of a song.
David Andrews grew up skating and snowboarding over anything else. Also a solid sprinter back in the day in high school. Got the thumbs up from Aldo Regia for this Muay Thai debut, which instilled a lot of confidence in himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly with a good group of guys. You saw his corner just walk out over here, and he's got some seasoned fighters over there. We know at one hit they train well. I'm sure he's getting punched in the face a lot by Ammon. So.
Hailing from Price, Utah, Fierce fans, make some noise for Alex Leyva!
Beautiful strike lands by Leyva.
And I love the creativity from Alex, honestly. It's cool to see him kind of get into that flow state.
It's declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Alex Leyva!
Well, that pop from the Price crowd indicates a fan favorite in Alex Leyva. Andrew, he's been built up by this community, now a dream turned into reality to compete in front of his hometown on the local show.
Yeah, and this is a fantastic opportunity for him. It's always fun to get to fight in front of your friends and family.
All right, first of 12 tonight pair at super lightweight as we pull up our tail of the tape. Andrews plays senior at 22 years old. Both sides see eye to eye in the height category. Andrews well under the lightweight threshold as the Muay Thai debut beckons for both. Alex Leyva stepping inside, made his kickboxing debut a couple of months ago. Now ready to throw some knees and elbows on the inside. With that, we'll kick it over to Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Rockwell Watches. This Muay Thai fight is an amateur super lightweight bout scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyastad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, making his amateur Muay Thai debut. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 163 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of One Hit MMA, hailing from Layton, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for David Andrews. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also making his amateur Muay Thai debut. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 165 pounds. Fighting out of Fierce MMA, hailing from Price, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Alex Leyva.
A duo of debuters to start us off. Alex Leyva, the local in the red gloves. David Andrews, the man across the cage in the blue. This Muay Thai bout is brought to you by Rockwell Watches. They don't just tell time, they tell a story. Rockwell Watches, the official champions watch of Fierce FC.
So exciting to have a fighter in here that's only 18 years old.
Graduated from Carbon High School just a few months ago. Faced off against Joe Davis. He was still in high school at the time.
Awesome, man.
Nice leg kick lands for the local fighter. Andrews answers back with his own.
Andrews pursuing here. He needs to be careful not to get caught coming in like this.
Nice clip over the shot. Over the top by Leyva.
Man, Leva looks, for such a young kid, he looks so calm and collected in there.
Been training for the majority of his life. His first fierce event was at 11 years old, but Andrews really piling it on. Leva will wrap up.
There was some good aggression there. I don't know that any of those really got through. It can be really hard to land those shots even against a cage when you have these bigger Muay Thai gloves on than in MMA. But so far, Andrews is doing a great job of backing his fighter up, staying on the offensive. The corner calling for the jab.
Solid step inside, a response by Leva, kick to the breadbasket as well. Nice elbow as well.
Yeah, nice step in elbow there from Alex Leva. Such a difficult weapon to use.
Especially in the fire like they were. Andrews slips up off the contact of Leva. 35 seconds to go, round one. Couple of nice feints by Andrews. Gets Leva on the pump fake, able to throw a few as well.
Little trash talk between the corners there. Steve Ergel telling Mason Moyes to watch his mouth.
I don't know if it completely picked up through the mics. Alex Leva out of Fierce MMA here locally in Price. David Andrews out of One Hit MMA.
Oh, man.
Make some noise for round one.
Good close to the round. Both guys having solid 2 minutes to kick things off.
Yeah, pretty back and forth. I'd say that, man, it's so hard sometimes because when you land even a few shots when a round's that close at the end of the round, sometimes you can steal it. He might have done that.
Over to Alex Leva. You think he might be down on the cards after that, but did start off really nicely. Also was the one throwing a pair of elbows.
Yeah, he's being really varied with his attacks, which is awesome. He's also very calm and collected, which it's just so impressive to see from he's 18 years old, right? And he's not panicking. He's staying tight, high guard when David Andrews is pressuring him. He's doing a really good job.
Again, Fierce FC 7 was the first Fierce event he ever came to. It was here at the Carbon County Event Center when Mason Sorensen debuted against Jeffrey Prado Morales. A special moment for him to be competing and also have Mason in his corner now. Kind of a full circle moment, Andrew.
Yeah, that is really awesome. I actually helped Jeffrey train for that fight. That name popped up in my head when you said that.
Haven't seen him on a Fierce card in quite some time, but
yeah, he's kind of fat now. He's a dad.
Top of round two we go, presented by Rockwell Watches. Dave Selystead, third man in the cage. He will be a busy man tonight. Got all dozen assignments falling to him, including the amateur heavyweight title in our co-main event later on tonight. Blake O'Rulian alongside Andrew Boquette. Leva opens up, going back to the midsection like he did so much in his kickboxing debut.
Might have been his corner told him he needed to get a little more aggressive. Great jab there from Alex Leva. Neither fighters are really taking advantage of leg kicks, but Leva really landing. David Andrews, when he's backing up, is leaving his head wide in the air, and Alex is channeling in on that, landing that right hand a lot. If I was in Alex's corner, I'd be telling him straight punches all day. Pressure forward and land those shots when he leans back.
Andrews now puts himself on the front foot. Starts to retreat just a bit. Solid matchmaking as well on this one. Both very evenly skilled coming into this one.
Yeah, I keep saying how young Leva is, but honestly, both these guys are very young.
Combined age of 40 years old in that cage, 22 for Andrews, 18 for Leva. Again, plans to enlist in the Navy in the near future here.
Good right hand stepping in there. David Andrews' corner over at One Hit, really just imploring him to move forward and get Alex Leva going backwards.
Popping out those ones effectively as well. We saw that near the end of round one, starting to do it again with about 35 seconds to go. Another one goes as Andrews picks up a few more.
Yeah, really good body shot on the inside there by David Andrews up against the cage. David's doing a good job of pressuring here, but it feels like because he keeps leaning back when he goes forward, he's getting caught.
Listening attentively to his corners, Mark Gonzalez alongside Mason Moyes is David Andrews as we close out round two.
Make some noise as we head into round 3.
Heard Mason Moyes and Mark Gonzalez both calling out instructions. You saw David Andrews nodding his head, Andrew. Seems like he's well attentive in there headed into the final 2 minutes of this one.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he's probably a little bit ahead on the scorecards here. He's moving forward and he's landing shots. That being said, though, the confidence, in my opinion, is waning a little bit from him because every single time he pursues Alex, even though he is landing shots, Alex is returning really, really hard when they're up against the cage, and he's getting caught with actually the worst of those shots. It's just hard to tell with judges. You never know.
And it's also it's difficult when you think about it's in a Muay Thai setting, not as many reps as well. So the judges, though they do prepare and they are definitely credentialed to do this, they aren't seeing as much MMA as they are seeing Muay Thai and kickboxing and things like that.
That's actually such a good point that I hadn't thought of. Really, really good point. And Muay Thai is scored very differently than MMA is. So these guys are not doing one of the primary things that you want to score points with, which is neither one of them has gone for a sweep, and neither of them are really taking advantage of leg kicks whatsoever.
Third and final round here, 2 minutes to go to kick things off here at Fierce Challenger Series 15. David Andrews, first of 4 out of One Hit MMA. Same can be said about Alex Leyva at Fierce MMA.
We're throwing spinning stuff now. I like this by Alex Leyva. I would like to keep seeing this. Really good body kick at the end of that combination.
Closing in the quarters very effectively. Nice combination as he backs out.
Alex thinks that David Andrews is fading. He's going to start putting it on here.
Nice screenshot in the middle. Leyva
attempted a sweep. Big deep breath by Alex Leyva though there. It is hard to put on the gas, especially in the third.
It's also difficult holding up those 12-ounce gloves versus 4.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Very true.
Just about 70 seconds to decide this one. Likely to see scorecards, but Alex Leyva presses up inside.
Good leg kick there by Alex, and David Andrews returns. David has really seen all of his success while he's moving forward.
Yeah. Andrews not throwing nearly as much here in minutes 4 through 6. Leyva been on the gas pedal throughout the entirety of this final round. Big swing and a miss for the local fighter.
The one-hit corner telling them their guy's tired, but both of these guys are tired. It's so funny when you're in there and your coach is yelling at you like, they're tired. It's like, I'm tired too.
Waning seconds here before we go to the scorecards.
Calling for the step in elbow from David Andrews.
Some nice feints.
Beautiful
from both sides. Spinning attack by Andrews. Might have been below the belt. Inside 10 seconds to go here. David Andrews a little bit shaken up. Looked like it was below.
Yeah, it was a good self-defense move from Andrew Leyva. Or Alex Leyva.
Closing this one out. Good matchup. Both guys solid in their Muay Thai debuts. Alex Leyva, David Andrews. Going to be interesting to see what these scorecards look like. Again, Andrew, not as many Muay Thai reps for the viewership as well as the judges.
Hey,
very interesting.
Make sure, as a reminder, you have these VIP seats right here with the round tables.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those things. Like Muay Thai is the combat sport that I actually watch the least as well. It's not very popular in the United States for whatever reason. Because honestly, it's probably the most exciting. It's so fun to watch, especially when they do it with the little gloves in the cage. I know we're actively working on Scott over there, trying to get it legalized in Utah, but. Until then, this is what we got. That was a really well matched up fight. It's nice to see Alex Leyva with an opponent who can kind of match his intensity.
Could we pull Andrew Boquette out of an unofficial retirement if we were to get a Muay Thai small glove situation?
That would be pretty awesome.
Would you do it?
Never say never. Everyone in this organization is trying to get me to fight. I love you guys. I just don't know.
We love having you here, and we think that it's more fun when you're in the cage. We love you in the booth, but you also do an incredible job talking on the mic and stirring up the action. No one does it better than Andrew Boquette in this state, for my money.
I appreciate that. Mark Gonzalez in the cage right now.
That was fun, too, a few months ago as well, when there was a little bit of chirping between you guys.
He got sad that I didn't fight. He still holds a grudge against me. He told me he loves me, but he wants to hit me.
Scorecard still filing in. Jackson Hoops.
I don't know about you, but I always get nervous whenever the judges take a minute. It's like, what are you guys up to over there?
It's got to be tight, though.
Yeah, it is. What do you think? What would you say?
It's close. I think Alex Leyva was so much more active in that third and final, and I think the first 2 rounds were probably split up to your estimation as well. But we'll have to see where things sway.
When fights are that close, I always tend to go with the guy. Not saying this is how it should be, just in my experience, judges tend to favor the guy that was pushing forward, which would be David Andrews, but we'll see.
All right, scorecards are primed. Here's Hoops.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Judge Steve Farragher scores this contest 29-28 Leyva. Judge Dan First scores this contest 29-28 Andrews. And Dennis McMahon scores this contest 30-27, declaring the winner by split decision, Alex Leyva.
The pop when you come out here is so loud and it is so electric.
Been able to conjure up a crowd of fans.
Biggest card of the year.
Let's go. Face first into the canvas. Muscle piece finishing blow.
That right hand was nuclear.
Sits him down and shuts him up. Elk Woodhouse. Nasir Davis with a
came and watched everybody that came in and out of that gym fight. Went through countless fight camps with them. And to be able to actually do it myself, show the kids that I teach, what it's like. It's really, it feels good.
You've already done a kickboxing fight, now Muay Thai. What's the plan for the future?
I think I'm going to kind of take a break for a minute. I've been training for a while. I'm going to try and do some grappling, lots of jiu-jitsu, and yeah, just hopefully get better so in the future I can do an MMA fight.
Bryce, Utah, your guy got it done. Give it up for Alex Leyva.
The pop when you come out here is so loud and it is so electric.
been able to conjure up a crowd of fans.
Biggest card of the year.
Let's go. Face first into the canvas. Muscle piece finishing blow.
That right hand was nuclear.
Sits him down and shuts him up. Elk Woodhouse. Nasir Davis with a flashy finish.
This place is going wild for Justin Horsley.
He's been checking all the boxes, getting ready for this fight.
Head hunting in the debut.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's one of the top pros in the state right now.
Takes care of business here in Salt Lake City.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. So Alex Leyva gets it done in front of his hometown. Price, Utah certainly loves that. Moving up to 225, a cruiserweight bout between Mac Newey and Earl Staley. Mac Newey, high praise out of One Hit MMA, Andrew.
Yeah, another one of those guys. I talk to Zach all the time, and I'm always asking him, what do you think about this upcoming card? He said, I'm really looking forward to seeing Mac fight. He's been training for a while, finally gets his opportunity, and so it should be really good.
Just about ready to get things going. But before we do, we'll talk a little bit more about this card. The pro debut falls on Jason Ergel in his first ever main event. A couple of big milestones in one night, Andrew. How do you compartmentalize all of that?
Dude, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool moment. We talked about it on the opener, right? Like when your dad is so involved in the mixed martial arts community, and of course he's your dad, he's going to be annoying and brag about you all the time, and he has been at times, right? But Jason, honestly, like from where he started to where he is now, he's become a pretty damn good fighter.
What is it specifically that you've seen him do? Is it the natural maturation of his body at just 22 years old, really starting to fill into his frame?
It's for sure part of it. Jason is not a kid, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but he's not like a super athlete, right? Like he's a technical guy. He uses like jujitsu, like good jujitsu, to beat guys. I've seen him settle down. I've seen him like be a little bit more calm and collected, pick shots from the outside. He's so big for the division. He's so tall, right? Which is exactly how he needs to fight. So I think maturation is a good word for it, but more maturing into the style of fighting that he needs to do, and he seems to drag guys into his strength every single time.
Stay tuned for that one. Final fight tonight, but for right now, we kick things off in the MMA rule sets with Earl Staley and Mac Newey.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Underground Farm. For your cutting-edge peptide solutions that enhance health and wellness, use promo code FIERCE10. That's promo code FIERCE10. Driven by science, committed to your wellness, Underground Farm. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Mac Newey and then Earl Staley to the cage.
All right, well, it's a delayed debut for One Hit MMA's Mac Newey. Andrew, he is red hot with enthusiasm as to what his future holds, wants to instantly make an impact on the Utah scene.
Yeah, One Hit has all these guys that are like sub 25 years old, and every one of them is like, I'm going to the UFC. And so he's at a good gym. Obviously, Aldo's a phenomenal coach. He's with a bunch of young guys that are all kind of hungry and chasing after it, so should be awesome.
Mac Newey, the fighter out of One Hit MMA, training at One Hit for just 6 months, but already integrated into the room. A main training partner for Ben Moa during his BKFC camp this spring. Says it's been one of the biggest blessings to work alongside the best and give him an idea of what it takes to be great. Ben Moa coming off that crushing KO in May.
Yeah, Ben Moa crushed my face when I trained with him over at Elite. So those are some tough rounds, I'll tell you right now. That guy's real damn good. So if he's over there training with guys like that, he'll have no problem here.
Mac Newey, at only 18 years old, couldn't get into his hotel room yesterday, Andrew, because of his age. Fierce Fighting Championship matchmaker Zach Partridge had to help him out. We had to pull over and get to the fighter hotel in order to let him in.
Yeah, this is such an interesting sport because we're going to let guys get in there and fight to the death, but then you can't get a hotel. I remember when I was about to make my pro debut, Jeremy Horn was like, I was like 19 and they were only fighting in bars at the time. This was a while ago. He's like, maybe we got to get you a fake birth certificate or something. And he was being serious. So it's just so funny. You can fight to the death, yes, but you cannot do it in a bar and you cannot get a hotel or rent a car.
Seeking a stand and bank type fight is Earl Staley. Andrew, been around the martial arts world for about as long as his opponent has been alive, but feels fit to make that official debut at 38 years of age.
Yeah, as soon as this guy walked out, I was like, I wonder what the game plan is. Yeah, it's to knock someone unconscious. That's the game plan.
Staley, a childhood friend of former heavyweight champion Kent Mafileo, and Kent is the one that actually got him involved with Fierce. Been training for 5 years, but some training stems all the way back to 2006. He said he loved watching Tank Abbott smash people. Mac Newey said he was inspired by Dan Hooker. Many moons in between those two generations.
Yeah, many, many moons. And I'll tell you right now, if he's one of Kent Mafileo's childhood friends, this is not this guy's first fight.
Earl Staley told me he's forecasting a knockout. We'll see who hits the off button first in this one. At 225 pounds. A blue belt in jiu-jitsu, well-versed in wrestling, boxing. Also mentioned kung fu to me as well. That's probably the one that dates back a little bit further.
Yeah, I'd probably leave the kung fu stuff outside of the cage and not bring that with, not bring that in. But, I'm kind of thinking to myself, this is not an easy fight, first fight for Mac Newey. Like, you've got a guy in Earl Staley, like, you know what he's going to do. It's not like this big secret, right? You can look at this guy and see, like, he wants blunt force trauma to your head. That can be scary for a new fighter.
Let's look at the intangibles. 2 decades divide the pairs. Newey stands taller at 6'1", plenty of room on the plate for both under that 226-pound limit as each make that inaugural MMA walk. All right, set and staged. Here's Hoops.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Underground Farm. For your cutting-edge peptide solutions, go to Underground Farm. This fight is an amateur cruiserweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyustad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, making his amateur debut. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighing in at 222 pounds. Fighting out of One Hit MMA, hailing from Layton, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Murder Mac Newey. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing in at 219.5 pounds. Fighting out of V-Town MMA, hailing from Vernal, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Earl Fubar Jr. Staley.
in the blue. This amateur cruiserweight bout is brought to you by Underground Farm. Optimize your performance, recovery, and overall well-being with advanced peptide solutions. Underground Farm, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Over there in the corner, McNewy immediately started duck walking, doing some wrestler shots, so that's a good idea. Can I ask you a question? Is there a story behind this being a cruiserweight bout?
It's more so that Zach Partridge really likes integrating that weight class for smaller guys who can't make 205.
Okay, I like that. Something I'm noticing about McNewy here, he's a former fatty. Big leather coming out here. The only reason I bring that up, oh my goodness!
Heavy chops! The heavy heave lands. McNewy melts him to the mat.
Dude, I was going to say, sometimes these guys who have lost a lot of weight, they're strong as hell because they've had to carry it around, and we just saw it. Big knockout power.
What a debut by McNewy, 18 years of age. Splashes onto the Fierce canvas like not many can. Got that replay ready for you, Andrew. Not a whole lot to look at, but break it down for us.
I had so much to say I didn't get to finish anything because he knocked him out so fast. Okay, here we go. So sort of charging in with his head down and gets caught. He ate a couple of good shots there and just tried to keep coming forward. Good right hand there from Mac, or from Mac, yes, sorry. And then just kind of stayed calm and relaxed. Good jab here. Uppercut lands. Left hook lands. Right hand lands. It's a 4-punch combination. Every one of them lands. Sends his opponent to the mat. No follow-up needed. No follow-up was had. That was enough, and that was the night.
Clean combos land. McNewy is a problem at cruiserweight. Who knows? Maybe light heavyweight, maybe heavyweight in the future, but nonetheless, McNewy, a new name worth tracking. Unbelievable finish by him.
Yeah, man, some heavy hands. I'm telling you, watch out for former fatties, dude. They can crack. They're dangerous.
Just talking to Zach Partridge, he mentioned the athletic ability of him. He's going to move to 1-0.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyustad has called a stop to this contest at 12 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Murder McNewy.
Knockout win. A short message from Prime Labs. More Fierce Challenger Series 15 after this.
Hey Fierce fans, Kibble Davis here with Prime Labs. We are now the official lab testing partner for all of Fierce Fighting Championships fighters. We provide a combat trio for all fighters across the Wasatch Front, as well as if you want to get in the best shape, like one of your favorite fighters, we provide many comprehensive blood panels. All you have to do is click on the link or text 385-645-7400.
Whether you're a fighter or just someone that wants to take charge of their own care and looking to address a lack of sleep, fat gain, or even muscle growth, Prime Labs has different panels for all financial situations. So please shoot us a text at 385-645-7400, scan the QR code, or please go to the website and come check us out.
Back inside live at the Carbon County Event Center in Price, Utah. Blake O'Rulian alongside Andrew Boquette. McNewy just exited the cage, and Andrew will show it again. He just did that.
Dude, look at this 4-piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang! All of them right on the money, too.
Face first, melts him to the mat. McNewy, a big-time name, looking forward to what he might do in the future. And Andrew, it's always so fun when you see these types of guys who nobody knows, makes their debut, and finishes someone that quickly.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, it's one of those things where it feels really good. But as far as your career is concerned, like, you've had a fight, but it lasted 10 seconds. So you really haven't had that much of a fight, right?
Sure.
It's why I always tell our amateur guys when they go 3 full rounds, even when they lose, I'm like, bro, it's not a big, like, you got so much experience out of that, right? So it'll be really interesting to see how he does next time, and inevitably when he hits someone and they don't go away, but that might be a while because McNewy's got some dynamite.
Confidence might be inflated as well headed into the future, but also it might just be a quick turnaround wanting to get the reps back in there. I remember when Zach Partridge, who we've talked about a lot because his teammates have been fighting, but after he had that quick finish about a year ago, he said, I don't feel that satisfied. I want to get back in there as quickly as possible because I feel like I didn't get a fight. I put all this hard work in and only got 10 seconds of action.
Yeah, and when you're this young, the number one piece of advice I would give to young fighters is to stay active. The biggest mistake that people make is they take a fight, they win, and then they stop fighting. I speak from experience on this. Like, if you want to do something in the sport, you need to fight a lot. It doesn't even matter if you lose, right? Try not to get hurt and just stay active. Get those reps in.
Being as active as can be. Hopefully we will see Mac Newey on plenty of cards in the future. We got a lot of Fierce Fighting Championship events scheduled in the future. Big one coming on August 16th as well at the Maverick Center. Andrew, I know you're looking forward to that. You're going to be on the call with myself alongside Jason Laporte. That one is special.
I can't wait. It's my first Maverick Center card.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked. I've been waiting to get on one of those for a while.
We only get about one a year. You were the man to be selected for it. Still waiting to get the nod from Jackson Hoops as to when we can go. We get the shrug and the I don't know what's going on, but all being said, Jackson Hoops minding his P's and Q's. Alex Leyva getting the decision win. Mac Newey doing it in quick fashion as well. Cade Olson, John Elkins, another pair making their debuts. Cade Olson, a local here in Price, Utah. John Elkins, a guy out of Excite MMA. They also have 4 fighters on this card.
Yeah, that's exciting. Mike Jones, our former middleweight champion, is going to be coaching all of them. I know if they got Mike out there helping them, especially with Carson, they're going to be coming prepared. Obviously, they always have good cardio, right? And now their wrestling's going to be up to speed, so it'll be good to see how those guys perform.
Looks as though we are just about ready to keep things moving. Cade Olson, John Elkins waiting in the wings. We'll bring it up with Jackson.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Market Express. As a locally owned and operated convenience store here in Price, Utah, they offer fresh food, carpool parking, top-tier gasoline, and premium diesel at Market Express. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome John Elkins and then Cade Olson to the cage.
All right, walk one of many for Excite MMA tonight is John Elkins. Andrew, he told me he's just getting to this point, and that is a victory in life for him. A win would be a cherry on top.
That's awesome to hear. You know, sometimes guys, like, they just kind of need to go through a fight camp, and martial arts in general can be such a positive conduit for making some big changes in your life. And maybe that's what this guy's doing with MMA.
Yeah, John Elkins, he was a witness to a domestic violence incident a few years ago, and ever since he knew he needed to learn how to protect himself and the others around him. So talking about that, certainly a motivating factor for him, but also gets to test his skills.
Yeah, martial arts and fighting is one of those things, like, I had the discussion with my wife before we got married. One thing I'm not going to budge on is she's going to know how to defend herself. Knowing how to fight is like knowing how to swim, right? You might not need it, but if your kid falls into the water, you better hope they know how to do it. Fighting's the same way. Hopefully violence never comes around you, but if it does, you better hope that you have a skill set to be able to handle it.
John Elkins told me the idea of fighting scares him a bit, but that's the reason he chose to make this walk. A lot of fighters feel that way, but they oftentimes also perform optimally because of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, look, one of my coaches told me before I walked out to a fight back in Logan back in the day, he said, "Are you scared?" I said, "I'm terrified." He said, "Yeah, you'd be a psychopath if you weren't. You're about to get into a cage and fight somebody." George St. Pierre famously said the only fight he didn't feel scared for, Matt Serra. And we saw how that went.
Two months to turn it around for an MMA debut. Here is Cade Olson. Andrew, he learned a lot in the kickboxing ring, now making that move to the cage for this one.
Yeah, it's always good to get a little bit of experience, even if it's not in an MMA fight, right? Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever it is, before you come in here for your first actual MMA match. I feel like a lot of guys in Utah, everyone here is serious about MMA, right? Like, that's what everyone wants to lead up to. Their jiu-jitsu tournaments, the kickboxing matches, the Muay Thai matches, their boxing matches, it's all to lead here to the cage. So I'm sure this debut has been months, but probably over a few years in the making to get to
down 15 pounds at lightweight following his kickboxing bout. Interested if he'll be able to level the playing field with that in mind. When you go down 15 pounds, that is a significant amount of weight, not to mention you're grappling tonight as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, 15 pounds doesn't sound like a lot necessarily, right? But as you go lower in weight, that becomes a bigger percentage of your overall mass, right? 10 pounds for me as a heavyweight is not the same thing as 10 pounds for Cade Olson. So it's a fair point. However, could have been 15 bad pounds, right? He might be in the best shape of his life.
Side by side we go at 155, a whopping 10-year gap in age. Olsen still sits on the south side of his 20s. The height edge sides with Elkins as the size advantage falls in favor of the local Cade Olsen. Both parties about to throw for the very first time. To get you tuned up is Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is brought to you by Market Express. This fight is an amateur lightweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyustad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner. Making his amateur debut, he stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighing at 152 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Excite MMA, hailing from Saratoga Springs, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for John Elkins. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Fierce MMA, hailing from Price, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Cade Olsen.
First shot in the small gloves, he wears red. John Elkins, the opposition, in blue gloves. This amateur lightweight bout is brought to you by Market Express. Price's locally owned and operated convenience store, tagged with top-tier gasoline and premium diesel. Market Express, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
John Elkins is locked in. He hasn't taken his eyes off of Cade since they got into the cage.
Training on and off at Excite MMA since 2020. Olsen targets towards the breadbasket, dipping and ducking inside.
Elkins looks quite a bit bigger. Ooh, takes a good head kick before he goes in for the shot, but great takedown. Right to side control, beautiful. Getting control of the head, cross-facing, trying to get his guy onto his back. Elkins is doing a good job here, though, of scrambling and getting back to full guard, sitting in half.
Cade Olsen training for just under a year at Fierce MMA. Doesn't have any additional training beyond that point, but that takedown might say something different, Andrew.
Dude, he took a head kick on the way in and still finished his shot. It was awesome.
I was looking down at the weights for yesterday. Elkins weighed in at 152.5, Olsen at 55. So you would think Olsen would be the larger opponent, but all that being said, Elkins on bottom, Olsen doing the damage.
Elkins doing a good job there getting back to guard, but he's punching from the bottom, which is not recommended. Still punching from the bottom. Going for a leg lock here from Cade Olsen.
Nice work by him, a scramble as well. Elkins trying to get over to the side. Not a great grip for Olsen. Just about a minute past here in round one, which has been all action.
Elkins did a great job there of getting his hips out and getting a body lock, but Cade immediately shut that down. A little bit of an arm-in guillotine attempt here, but I think mostly it's going to be Foley. I don't think he's going to finish that from this position.
Price crowd really getting behind their guy. Elkins doing a good job defending, but Olsen is not letting go of that grip.
This is actually, in my opinion, a little more dangerous for Cade. He's probably going to burn his arms out here if he's putting too much pressure. Okay, now it just got a little bit tighter, though.
Solid angle, but doesn't seem to be scrambling by any means as Elkins certainly has his head straight, Andrew.
Elkins look like he's totally fine here, but as they stay here and Cade keeps adjusting, it could become dangerous. No, I think Elkins is totally good. His head's up. Cade is gonna have a tough time after this, though. He's been squeezing for like 45 seconds.
Would you suggest maybe snapping down, trying to lose the base of Elkins or something like that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, are we seeing a tap here? It looked like he tapped on the elbow from there. Okay, Cade Olsen, let's go. What I was gonna say was he's got the double under body lock. If he can hit a takedown and then get to half on the way down, that would probably be ideal. Elkins throwing hard. Looks like Cade lost his feet for a little bit.
Elkins wobbled, still throwing. Olsen trying to finish this one inside one.
Both these guys are tired right now, and so they're just landing every shot.
Lots of offense from both, but Cade Olsen was the one who had that grip for so long. Now a couple of foot stomps for the prize fighter.
Cade Olsen's strategy here is to just overwhelm John Elkins with activity, but it's not meaningless activity. He's going for submissions. He's trying to smash his face. This is a lot to deal with. John Elkins with a big, deep breath at the end of that round. That was a tough round to be on the B side of.
Cardiovascular is going to be tested here in round number 2. Cade Olsen looked really good in that opening round. Elkins had a few shining moments as well.
He absolutely did. It's just the bigger moments were definitely from Olsen. It felt like John Elkins was getting a little bit overwhelmed there. Mike Jones, completely talented fighter, came in nice and calm, relaxed voice, right? This is one of the major benefits of having such a veteran in your corner. Hey, man, just relax. That's as bad as it's going to be. And he's right. That is as bad as it's going to be. First minute of the first round against a young guy like that, it's only going to get a little bit easier from here.
Over in the corner of Cade Olsen, Steve Ergel, Jeff Kelly taking care of business for him. He was met with so much offense but absorbed it well, never knocked down during his kickboxing walk against Tristan McDonald. But it seems like he learned a lot of lessons, far less gun-shy here tonight.
Yeah, he's looking good. And he came out throwing leather right away, like immediately just started swinging.
Sometimes it just takes one rep to really get the idea of what this is. An MMA debut, but again, a kickboxing debut back in May at the Masonic Temple. Cade Olsen, John Elkins, top of round 2 we go, powered by Market Express.
If I'm Cade Olsen, I'm going back out there and shooting a takedown immediately.
Bids for a 1 and 2. Elkins pops out a couple as well. Nice power shot down the pipe by Olsen.
The corner of Elkins calling to get his jab going. Absolutely recommended.
Tempted
an outside trip. Yep.
Good work by Olsen to get back to the top. Just about 25 seconds into round number 2.
They find themselves in this half guard position again that they were in previously, but this time a little bit more of a deeper half guard. This is one of those positions, it's pretty interesting because it's simultaneously the premier passing position in jiu-jitsu, but also a premier sweeping position in jiu-jitsu. So it's very interesting. What you guys want to watch at home is if the guy on the bottom, if John Elkins can get his back off of the mat and onto his side, he'll be in a good spot. But if he can't, then he's going to be in some trouble here. But he's doing a good job of staying off of his back and potentially going to recover his full guard here.
Trying to get some frames inside like you prescribed, Andy. Off to his side on that right shoulder. Cade Olsen also potentially just settling in after a lot.
Elkins might be going for a straight arm lock here. It's always interesting when you're watching these debut guys fight because they get to positions, you're like, do you know that yet? Potential triangle here as well.
Lots of options from the bottom. Cade Olsen in the guard of Elkins.
There it is.
Olsen able to get his head out of the sand trap. Now passes over the guard. Side control for Olsen.
And as you guys just saw, the way to stop jiu-jitsu is just stand up.
Cade Olsen, Derek Lewis, those rules apply.
70% of the time, it works every time. Elkins doing a good job staying off of his back again in this half guard position. I'd love to see Cade start putting some pressure with his left instep on the thigh here to try to pass. Looks like he's going for the hip pass here. Potential head and arm choke. Going to be hard to finish from side control opposite side, but we've seen stranger things, haven't we, Blake?
Andrew Mickelson pulled it off about a year and a half ago on the wrong side, and we all couldn't figure out how he did it. But when you're Andrew Mickelson, you kind of defy odds.
That guy's a dick, dude. He's so nice. He's so handsome. He's so good at fighting. Good shots landing here from Cade on the top.
South of 30 seconds left in round number 2. Cade Olsen been on top for the majority of this round. Unable to pass the guard of Elkins for the last little bit. Been in that deep half guard is the Excite MMA fighter.
You know, Elkins has got the underhook. I'd love to see him drop that down a little further and try to get up and wrestle up to his knees, but might just be too tired at this point.
Just about 6 minutes down, 3 more to go. And Andy, probably safe to prescribe that John Elkins likely will need a finish in this one.
Yeah, I don't see any way how you score either of those rounds for John Elkins. It's got to be 2-0 for Cade going in here into the third, and the game plan is largely working, so don't change it.
Over to John Elkins we go. Looks pretty exhausted, hunched over, listening intently though to Mike Jones. 3 minutes to take this one home for himself in the amateur debut.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that makes wrestling and grappling so powerful is that when you're tired and somebody takes you down, it's so inviting to just accept the position and lay there so that you can rest. But unfortunately, 3 minutes goes really fast in a cage, and before you know it, you've lost the decision. So we'll see what happens here. John Elkins got himself into some spots there on the bottom where I think he could have got out. I don't know if it's more of a fatigue thing. Again, they're debuters, so it might just be a knowledge-based thing.
Third and final round here in our third of 12 tonight, live in Price, Utah. Jason Ergel, Hal Mitchell later on in our main event. Also the amateur heavyweight title between Drake Anderton and Chris Falau to be decided. Couple of rematches as well in our main card coverage. Plenty still to come here, but we shift our focus back over to the two lightweights in the cage. Cade Olson trying to secure the win.
Mike Jones was adamant in the corner. He said, you start throwing. And he is doing exactly that. He's listening. Mike is locked in over here, yelling at his fighter.
Olson gets back over to the stomach and midsection of Elkins. Now shoots in for another takedown. Had a lot of success here in round number 2.
Might get this high crotch, but Elkins is now doing a good job of stopping. He needs to push the head down, potentially land on top. This could be a fight-ending position when they're this tired. Leg is in a little bit of trouble. We got some blood from one of these fighters. I wasn't able to see who it was. Straight ankle lock attempt here by Cade. Mike giving the advice that I would give from Elite Performance. Don't worry about the leg lock. Sit up and punch him.
Able to loosen up the grip. Elkins
Cade is
gets
exhausted.
out and now taking over the back as Olson allows him to get there. A little bit more wrestling from the Price fighter.
No. If Elkins can get up here, I actually think he can. He might be able to pull this off, but they are both so tired. Cade Olson is completely exhausted. That was a go for broke takedown attempt there.
A grueling pace for both. Minute 40 to decide this one. Likely to go back to judges' scorecards as we initiate some more grappling, but John Elkins trying to put something together on bottom.
Man, it's going to be tough, but if he's able to... Oh, look at that. Good Oh, my goodness, he's so tired. I feel for him. I've been there. Elkins doing a good job of trying to get up. Cade may be taking his back here. He's got one hook secured. Pretty high, though.
Gaslight illuminated. Cade Olson trying to find some real estate around that neck. Plenty of time to work.
He's got his arms locked together. Even when you're so tired like this, you don't necessarily even need both hooks. Both of my wins, I didn't have either hooks. How about that?
I do remember that. Hard from our vantage point to see what's going on, but Cade Olson trying to wrap up that rear naked choke. Elkins fighting it valiantly, tucking back that chin under a minute before we decide.
I want to point out here a lot of fighters would quit right now. A lot of guys that are in John Elkins' position would accept this and just quit. It's an easy way to go out. A rear naked choke is like a good way to save face. Doesn't necessarily make it look like you're quitting. Elkins isn't doing that. He's fighting back, and it looks like he actually might maybe get on top there for a moment. Cade does a good job of switching his hips and keeping his hips over.
Olson lost the grip moments ago. Elkins continuing to defend well, and like you said, Andrew, a lot to take away for John Elkins. The heart is there for sure.
1,000%. I'm telling you, most guys would quit in this position. Most debuters would have been out of here by now. He's doing a great job of hanging tough here. Looks like Dave's going to let it go, which I do appreciate.
Make some noise for these two.
That'll close it out. 10s and 9s will decide this one, but it seems that all signs point to Cade Olson, the 19-year-old, getting it done, and the Price crowd certainly enjoying it as well, Andrew.
Yeah, I just watched Cade walk over to his corner. His legs gave out a little bit. I don't think that's from damage. I think that's from fatigue. That was a hard-fought victory for him. Well, likely hard-fought victory for him.
Went 6 minutes in May, went 9 minutes here in July, and Cade Olson didn't get the win a couple of months ago. Looks like he's going to get the nod in this one. Back down to the bar stools he goes. Again, alongside Steve Ergel and Jeff Kelly. Pretty surgical with the grappling and just incessant pressure in the stand-up as well.
Yeah, he did a really good job of pushing forward, and he was constantly taking the fight to where he wanted to take it. Pressuring, good punches as he closed the distance. He consistently went for the head tie. That was clearly his position. And he was successful with it every single time. He did a really good job of implementing what his strategy was.
As for John Elkins, we spoke to his praises in the back half of that third round, but so much to take away from this, a lot of it being that this guy can take damage, but also won't quit on himself whatsoever, hunched over, but went the full 9 minutes. Lots to tip your hat off to in the corner of John Elkins.
100%. He has nothing. He should be happy with that performance, and he should be proud of himself. The rear naked choke is the dirtiest secret in mixed martial arts. If you're not a fighter, you might not know this. When you see a rear naked choke on guys, a good 50 to 60% of the time, they're just quitting. They're looking for an opportunity to get out of the fight. When the fight starts, after a little bit, you kind of have an idea of who's going to win the fight when you're in there. And when guys get into a position where you can get out of the fight, stop taking damage, and it doesn't look like you're going to quit, a lot of times they take it. He didn't do that. He stayed in there even when it looked unlikely that he was going to win. He probably didn't win. He shouldn't win. But he still hung tough. He didn't give up, and he kept fighting. And he deserves respect for that.
Lightweights wrangled in the center. Scorecards reside with our guy, Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28, declaring the winner by unanimous decision. Out of the red corner, Cade Olsen.
Cade Olsen, lots of respect there shared with John Elkins. What were some of the things you guys were saying to each other?
Man, I was just saying that we're here to get better. And we're going to continue getting better, and I want to see him back better than ever.
I will say you looked better in there, considering the May walk for your kickboxing debut. How much better did you feel in here tonight in the 4 ounces?
Man, it's not that I feel better. It's that I got those jitters out the first fight. I didn't come in knowing what to expect. I've never fought before, never on the street, nothing like that. So it was just like a change of pace for me. And now that I understand, I can come back in here and have a little bit of semblance and not get overwhelmed.
How much was your gas tank needing to be preserved when you realized how tough John Elkins was?
Man, he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I would sit there on top and I'd try to move, and he's just nonstop fighting and fighting me. So I really had to get down in there and get everything out of my gas tank. He's a great opponent.
What was it like performing in front of Price, Utah?
Man, it was awesome. I love Price.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1-0 in MMA. Give it up for Cade Olsen.
Hi, I'm Jason Laporte, Fierce Fighting Championship commentator and general sales manager at Performance Honda in Bountiful. We are the fastest growing Honda dealership in the state, and we have one of the largest certified pre-owned inventories in the state of Utah. Our service department has master technicians with over 100 years experience collectively.
Bienvenidos a Performance Honda Bountiful, donde los atendemos en español y les ponemos una sonrisa todos los días.
Visit us at 2215 South 500 West or performancehondabountiful.com.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Well, I will say I don't know where Andrew Boquette went. I went to do a post-fight interview, and now I am a lone man at this table, unsure of where he ran off to, but I do hear that he is coming back. All good and all smiles. When you're in Price, Utah, things are stretched a little bit more, but nonetheless, Cade Olsen takes care of business. Andrew Boquette sprinting his way back over to the broadcast booth as he gets on his cans. But Andrew, just talking a little bit about Cade Olsen, he looked so good in there, and he did say it was the shedding of the nerves from that kickboxing walk that made him so effective tonight.
He looked fantastic, and he didn't look nervous at all. Like, he didn't look like a guy who's making his MMA debut. He looked like a guy who knew what he wanted to do. He knew what his game plan was, and he imposed it. When I was backstage just barely, I was talking to Mike Jones, the corner of John Elkins, Cade's opponent, and he said, damn, that kid's pretty good, huh? It was a dogfight. He hung in there, and much to the things we were echoing during the broadcast, Mike saying very proud of his own fighter for not giving up when Cade was putting the pressure on like that.
So impressive by Cade, also just so well at dictating his thoughts when we had that post-fight interview. Very, very mature young man at just 19 years old, speaks well. You see why the Price crowd loves him.
Isn't that nice when you have a fighter who has an IQ that's above the room temperature? You gotta love it. It's a rare thing nowadays. I feel like as you get higher in weight, the IQ actually gets lower along with the skill level of the fighters. But we'll see tonight if the heavyweights can break that streak.
Well, lucky for you, we moved down to flyweight between Ruben Rivera and Amos Montoya, a couple of guys trading back and forth in their amateur debuts, but you've known Ruben Rivera for a long time.
Dude, for a really, really long time. Yeah, we talked about that story of me and him out of the club, right? And Ruben, I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite sayings, won't fight is unacceptable. Can't fight is okay, won't fight is unacceptable. Ruben Rivera couldn't fight back then, but he would fight. Now he can fight, and he is fighting. So I'm excited.
And diving a little bit more into that story, it is pretty incredible when you think about being in Park City, finding Rise Boxing, connecting with Marco Sanchez, all of that coming together in order for him to make that walk tonight. This has been all-encompassing for years. He comes from a family of fighters.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I know all of these guys out there, they're all fighters. Every single one of those guys are fighters. Whether they have trained or not, that's a different conversation. But those guys love to go out. They love to get into fights. They fight each other. This is the first friend group I've ever been a part of or ever seen where they will literally just fight each other. Like, they have a disagreement, they just fight. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? But they just like to scrap, and they're okay with it. So you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Hawaiians. Hawaiians are the exact same way as these Mexican cowboys out in Heber.
Amos Montoya on the other side, another fighter out of Excite MMA. Excited to see him as well. Has some family ties to fighting. We'll talk a little bit more about those as they make the walk. But a few more coming up as well. Nakaya August, Brianna Woodby out of Bozeman, Montana. That's in a couple of fights. But Nakaya August, the local from out here, grew up in Price, Utah. Brianna Woodby, been looking forward to making this walk for a very long time as well. Andrew, I think a lot of people are looking forward to that one.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, when you're a local fighter, everybody wants to see you. And I say this all the time, and I wish some of these females would take advantage of it. When you're a girl fighting, the sky is the limit. There should be 200 people here yelling your name, right? And I think she actually does have quite a few people here yelling her name. So it should be fun.
Should be a whole lot of fun. I'll ask you this, Andrew. True or false, the rematch between Dietrich Jessup and Brendan Myers is more competitive than their first matchup in 2022.
1,000% correct. Absolutely it is. Both guys it's totally different fight, right? Like, it's always funny when people talk about rematches. We just saw this with Dustin and Max. Dustin's won the first two. It means nothing, right? It means absolutely nothing. You change so much in just even one or two fights, right? They've had a good amount of time since then. Both of them matured a lot. I'm super excited because the last fight was awesome. So this should be even better.
Same story for Chloe Becker and Hannah Silva. Another rematch on this. Chloe Becker was making her debut. Hannah Silva was a few fights in. Silva got the win, but Chloe Becker has also leveled up a lot over the years.
Yeah, you know, I know that it's hard to get rematches in local MMA, right? Because there's not a whole lot of incentive for the winner to fight again.
Right.
I remember after I beat Bradley Burson, I couldn't believe it because I battered him, and he messaged me on Instagram, and he said, let me know if you want to run it back. I said, thanks, I don't. Because there's just not a lot of reason. So when you get the chance, you want to take it.
All right, ready to go back inside the hoops.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Southwest Plumbing Supply. Operating since 1989 here in Price, Utah, they offer a variety of plumbing supplies and services. When it comes to wholesale plumbing, they set the standard at Southwest Plumbing Supply. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Amos Montoya and then Ruben Rivera to the cage.
All right, another out of Excite MMA tonight is Amos Montoya. Andrew, he has a lot of confidence in his grappling. 2 years training, 2 more years wrestling in high school, a strong foundation for a debut.
Yeah, I was talking to Mike earlier today before I started my drive down here to the beautiful city of Price, Utah. And, I said, hey, what's the plan? He said, I'm not going to tell you. I know that you and Ruben are friends. I said, brother, I would never do that to you. I wouldn't do it to Mike. Just to be clear, I would do it to other people. I would do it to Mike. But he said 100%, the game plan here is to wrestle. We know that, obviously, Rise Boxing is a boxing gym, right? And so they'd be foolish to not take advantage of the skill set that Amos has honed over the last few years and, get the fight to the mat. Whether they can do that or not remains to be seen.
Amos Montoya, pretty incredible here, taking this fight for his grandfather, who passed away last November. He was a boxer in his youth and certainly was an inspiration to Amos. Now this opportunity for him presents itself. Really, really special story, and when you think about that, there's a lot of motivation for him to get his hand raised.
Oh, 100%. When you come from a family that has a bunch of fighters under it or has people that fight in it, You always want to kind of carry on in that legacy. You want to, you grow up looking up to your grandpa. I'm sure he grew up looking at him and like, not only is he my grandpa and I love him, but he can fight. What's better to a young man than seeing someone that you love and idolize that can fight, right? And so it's really cool to see him carrying on in his family's legacy like that.
Amos Montoya, the 25-year-old flyweight out of Excite MMA, he will await Ruben Rivera. Well, he wanted to get more comfortable competing. Now it seems he's off to the races as Ruben Rivera makes his second walk in 2 months. Andrew, his MMA debut, but looks solid in his first kickboxing showing as well.
He absolutely looked solid. He looked like he wanted to get shot out of a cannon. He came right after him. A little bit of fatigue towards the end of that fight, but with the pace of the fight, it did make sense. When you put grappling into the equation, things start to change a little bit. So I'm interested to see how the gas tank holds up in this setting. Granted, his first fight was his first fight, but still.
Yeah, he told me that pressure would be high on the priority list to dictate where the fight goes. We'll see if he can convert game plan to outcome in there tonight. But like you mentioned, Andrew, he packs a lot of power into that flyweight frame. Scored a knockdown 8 seconds into the kickboxing debut in May.
Shit, he almost scored a knockdown on me. He hits hard.
Certainly does. Ruben Rivera out of Rise Boxing, a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, has never been submitted in competition. If any grappling is posed, he does have that in his back pocket. Let's look at the numbers powered by R&R Barbecue. Rivera, 1 year older. Montoya, 1 inch taller. Both fighters well within the flyweight confines as another duo of debuters go head to head. All right, to get this one off of the ground, we're going to get it over to Jackson Hopes.
Here's fans. This fight is brought to you by Southwest Plumbing. This fight is an amateur flyweight bout scheduled for three 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner. Making his amateur debut, he stands 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighing in at 124 pounds. Fighting out of Excite MMA, hailing from Los Angeles, California, by way of Orem, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Amos Montoya. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 3 inches tall and weighing at 123.5 pounds. Fighting out of Rise Boxing, hailing from Park City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Ruben Rivera.
Second straight fierce backdrop for Ruben Rivera in the red gloves. Amos Montoya targets a debut win in the blue gloves. This amateur flyweight bout is brought to you by Southwest Plumbing Supply, providing the knowledge, products, prices, and support usually reserved for only the largest contractors and service professionals. Southwest Plumbing Supply, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Getting a little loud in here, Elder Aurelian.
Ruben Rivera, lots of fans coming out here for him.
Ooh, fast hands coming out from Ruben already. Good one, too, down the middle. His chin is wide up in the air. I don't like to see that.
Nice knee up the middle lands for the Park City fighter as well. But Amos Montoya closing distance. Nice crack on the chin lands as well for Rivera.
Oh, and stumbles in there with another right hand. Ruben's doing a good job of keeping his distance, landing his shots.
Wild exchanges. Amos Montoya lost his footing for just a second. Rivera capitalized once again. To the grappling we go.
Amos has got to take advantage of these situations where they're grappling like this. Even this is okay. Even this is okay. But he needs to take advantage of it and start getting up on a hip and start turning this. He cannot accept the bottom position, though. This is not good.
A fast flyweight pace posed by both. Rivera on top, right near his own real estate by Marco Sanchez and MG Valinga.
I'm really interested to see the grappling pedigree here of Ruben Rivera. I actually was not aware that he was a blue belt. Has that all been done with Marco?
Yeah, also wrestled in high school and has some jiu-jitsu, is mainly on the scouting report, but did wrestle at Park City High School.
Okay. Amos trying to get up here. Ruben locking in the guillotine.
Wrapped up tight, Rivera scrambling well.
Pretty sick fireman's carry there from the guillotine. You love to see that.
Montoya able to make his way outside, scrambles as he makes his way up to his feet. Wild exchanges, Andrew.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild little scramble there. I was looking at him getting up when Ruben was looking for that uppercut. I was thinking this might be the end of the night. Ooh, jumping in right hand from Ruben Rivera.
Guy might be a problem in the near future. Couple years from now, we might be singing his praises with some high stakes at hand. Ruben Rivera now jumps back onto a guillotine. Montoya able to secure his first takedown of the fight.
That was really good chain wrestling by Amos there, actually. Very nice job. Now he's in trouble here. This guillotine could be tight, and he's not doing anything with his hands. He's got to get his hands off of the mat. That to me is rule number one when you are grappling. Get your hands off of that mat. I better not see your hands on that mat, Blake, when I see you grappling.
I never put my hand on the mat. In fact, I was coaching someone through not putting their hand on the mat earlier this week at practice.
It's a simple rule to follow, and it really does help. I would love to see Amos from the top here start doing some cross faces and try to pull his head out. Fighting the hands is good.
Has that arm in. Very difficult for Rivera to pull off the submission.
Aren't you impressed when you see guys consistently finish this submission, the arm in guillotine? It's so difficult to do. I suck at it.
Certainly a tough one. Rivera been squeezing for it for a little bit. Just about 10 ticks to go round one. We'll see where the gas tank preservation lies for the Park City fighter. He talked a lot about that, but now Montoya passing through waning seconds, won't be able to pull up the submission. But nice mechanics by the Excite fighter to close out round one.
Yeah, that was excellent. So that's what he needs to do. He just needs to do it before there's 20 seconds left in the round, right? Ruben obviously landed some, I think the actual story of that round, Ruben had really good right hands pumping, but actually his knees on the inside as his opponent were coming in were really beautiful. He did a great job with that. Man, the flyweight fighters are so fast, aren't they?
They are so fast. The exchanges are so free. Montoya tripped trying to get into some grappling exchanges a couple of times. Ruben Rivera has been able to stay poised, and we see him now trying to get that heart rate down.
Yeah, I'm going to expect a lot more heavy grappling here out of Amos coming into this second round. He had some really awesome transitions in the middle of that grappling. It looked a little bit crazy because Ruben was trying to jump gilly the whole time, but he had a pretty sick inside single leg to a double leg. He hit a fireman's carry in the middle of it, which is something you almost never see in MMA, right? I mean, you never see it in jiu-jitsu, let alone MMA. So really, really awesome job by him. If he can get that going a little bit earlier, he'll definitely have some success. If this fight stays on the feet, I'm going to predict a knockout here from Ruben.
Top of round two we go. 3 more minutes in front of us. Dave Selystead, the busy man tonight. He has all assignments. No Tyler Tomlinson or any other Utah official on hand. Montoya feints a few times. Rivera gets the action started.
I don't love that Ruben is just running into him. Amos has got to take advantage of these slips here.
Quick slip on a high aim for Rivera. Montoya now into his grappling bag, but Rivera puts the reverse Uno card into play.
I think he's just a little bit more physical than Amos. When they're getting in tight with each other, he's just kind of throwing him around, and who said strength and size doesn't matter in a fight?
Both fighters nearly identical on the scale last night. 123.5 for Rivera, standing 5'3", 5'4" for Montoya, hitting the plate at 124 flat. And not really seeing a big size discrepancy in there. More so, Ruben Rivera has been the one initiating the action, Andrew.
Yeah, he might just be an animal, right? Like, is the thing. Like, sometimes you can be the exact same size as someone and they can feel twice as strong as you. So, and Ruben's really getting after it. Potential back take here from Amos.
Nice work by Amos, unable to fully pull it off. But a good thought by him. Nice shot lands as well for Rivera.
You know, we've seen it from a few fighters here from this bottom side control, or half guard position rather. There's so much of an emphasis for them to get to full guard, which I don't want to say that it's wrong, but it's also in MMA setting, it's also not right. I really would rather see these guys fighting for an underhook and getting up to their knees. Getting to the guard is only about, it's not really halfway up. It's kind of only a quarter of the way up, and then the guy can hit you while he's on top. And I'll tell you right now, if they get into the guard, that's exactly what Ruben Rivera is going to do.
Well, and you're a big advocate as well, and rightfully so. It's the right way in which a lot of elite fighters play these things out is they don't settle on the bottom. They have to work their way up. DC, it's one of the first things he always says is Montoya starts to get some action, but Rivera able to get to the back.
That was really slick. That was a good job by him, and he might have this rear naked choke. We'll see. Good bit of hand fighting going on here. He might have this. Got him. How about that?
Ruben Rivera, 1-0, a big-time win. What a summer for the Park City Fighter.
A very good performance here from Ruben. He is pumped up in the cage, flexing all 125 pounds of himself.
Ruben Rivera, second round rear naked choke submission. Hands up in the air, fired up. 1-0 in kickboxing, 1-0 in MMA now as well. Dominant, I would say, Andrew.
Dude, he's fun to watch fight, isn't he? He gets out there and just gets out. He just starts fighting. I love fighters. It sounds dumb to say. I love fighters that fight.
Replay brought to you by R&R Barbecue. We've got the finish right here. Andy, break it down.
Yeah, so obviously right away had the arm across the neck. They started hand fighting a little bit. Ruben made sure his hands were up underneath and got a good grip, fully locked in. I would have loved to see the transition to the back control, the back take there, because it was a pretty awesome reversal, but nonetheless, the result is the same. Ruben Rivera by RNC in the second. Slick work on his part.
What a win by Ruben Rivera. We're going to kick it inside to the center with Jackson.
Fierce fans, after referee Dave Celia said it's called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by submission due to rear naked choke, Ruben Rivera.
Ruben Rivera, what a summer you have had. A kickboxing win, now an MMA debut as well. How you feeling, my man?
I feel great, man. I feel like I made a statement that I needed to make. Everybody just thought that I was only a striker, but wherever the fight goes, I feel confident in my own skills thanks to my coach and all my teammates. I'm ready wherever it goes.
How did you feel in there with the grappling exchanges? Amos Montoya was well known as a grappler. You seem to match it very well.
I can feel it. You can tell that he's got strong grappling, but like I said, everybody just looks past my grappling. I got grappling too. I train with some of the best grapplers. All my family out of Agima, you know there's some dogs out there, and I'm a dog just like myself.
2 fierce appearances in 2 months. What do you want next, and how fast do you want to get back in here?
Whenever ready. Let's go right back after. You're my coach October. I'm ready to get back in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is so much fun at flyweight. Give it up for Ruben Rivera. So Ruben Rivera comes away with the win, 4 fights down, 5 still to go. Nakaya August Brianna would be up next. Again, we talked about it a few moments ago, but Ruben Rivera, very special, wants to get back in October, Andrew.
Yeah, I was just talking to Zach, and I said, what do you think? He said the kid's a problem. I asked him who he's got matched up for him. He said Marcos told him he should actually be fighting at 115 pounds, but obviously there's no one down that low to fight. So we got to get him on some Tropicana. But they have another flyweight that I think's pretty low. I don't want to say the name yet.
Talking a little bit about Ruben Rivera, we mentioned it when he was coming out, but he has combat reps. It's with close friends and family and all of that to encompass that he was really ready. He looked borderline pro ready, I would say, Andrew. There was no shaking off of the cobwebs. There was no nerves to be shed. He was him full front and came away with the win.
No, he looked great. I was telling Zach, I think the difference in that situation, because I do think that Amos was a better grappler in there, but Ruben is so physical and he's so aggressive and he's so hard to deal with because of that. You will beat people, like you think of Ricky Mamone, right? Skill-wise, Ricky is very good. I'm not saying he's not, but he's such a physical person. If you don't have a very, very high skill level, he will make you well. Like, he'll just overrun you. Right? And I think Ruben is kind of bringing the same strategy where it's like, dude, I'm going to come after you, and if you don't have a good game plan to handle that, you're going to go.
He seemed intense, too, very hungry to continue on this road. Got a few years to really cut his teeth into this MMA career. Wonder how long he stays at amateur.
I can't think too much longer because I don't think he's going to get many more fights. I think he's going to get 2 or 3 more, and that's probably going to be it. By the way, another thing that Zach told me, one of his top 5 favorite fighters to work with currently in the state. So grateful, so humble, so respectful, which is exactly how I remember him as well.
After weigh-ins, he came up to myself, Jackson, and Hoops, and Zach Partridge. We do a lot of stuff for weigh-ins to make sure things are functioning, and said, hey, thank you so much for all your hard work. And just to be completely honest, and we don't expect this whatsoever, but nobody does that. And it's greatly appreciated by all of us who put a lot into this show. Ruben Rivera, certainly a gem in the Utah MMA scene, excited for more people to get to know him as time moves forward. We will stay at flyweight. Nakia August as well as Brianna Woodby. We are waiting for the doctor. That has been the lapse in time during these fights. Only have one doctor, typically have 2. But it seems as though our resident Dr. Murdoch is making his way back inside.
Murdoch's the man.
Very, very talented and high-level doctor. Does combat sports all over BKFC, the UFC. He is the man who is called upon most of the time.
You know what's awesome, too? He'll do house calls when you're getting ready for fights. If you're like, he understands how much fighters go through, and he'll go, hey, man, you can just come to my house. I can come to your gym. Like, what do you want to do? He is the easiest doctor, the easiest official to work with. He's the man, dude. We're actually very grateful in Utah to have somebody like him, and we need to make sure that the fighters are treating him with the respect that he deserves because of how much he facilitates going on in the state.
Absolutely agree with that. Dr. Cabot Murdoch, a busy man tonight alongside so many here in Price, Utah. Just about an hour plus east of Spanish Fork, Utah. Happy to be here. We come here every July for Fierce Fighting Championship. This is where the entire show began back in 2016. Cody Bunderson put this whole thing together, and now Fierce Fighting Championship, one of the higher level shows in the entire West Coast. A lot of that thanks to both Zach Partridge and Cody Bunderson, Sage and Champneys as well. They've done an incredible job building up this show, and Andrew, we're all just lucky to be a part of it.
100%. I mean, there's a reason that I'm here and not somewhere else. Fierce is 100% the premier MMA organization easily in Utah. Probably in the majority of the Western United States. Not only as far as production quality is concerned, they got the best and most handsome commentary team around. Right?
I would say when we're talking about 2/3 of it, you and Jason Laporte, you are absolutely right in that estimation.
And then there's an actual professional, which is Blake Aurelian, who holds the whole thing together instead of while Jason and I go off on random tangents. So.
Hanging on by the Spider-Man webs on the bus is what I'm trying to do here at Fierce Fighting Championship, no doubt about it. But
Fierce is a special place. We're lucky to have an organization like this in Utah. And, it's one thing to come out and have an organization of this quality. It's another one to have it stick around. So many organizations come out with the quality of Fierce.
Yes.
But their business practices aren't on point. They go away. You're not helping anybody regardless of how good your show is if you're out of business.
And that is one of the reasons we are so lucky to have this show be so consistent as well. Got a big show coming up August 16th live from the Maverick Center. Andrew, I wish you were on it, but like we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, you will be on the call. Cannot wait for that. It seems like it's going to be the biggest show ever.
Man, Mavericks, I love the fact that we're now, it used to be Maverick Center like all the time, right? And I feel like we were starting to get some fighters on the Maverick Center cards that really hadn't earned it quite yet, just to be totally fair, right?
Yeah.
The people on the Maverick Center card this time, they've earned it. They're all fighters who should be fighting at the Maverick Center. I love fighting at the Maverick Center. My last 2 fights were at the Maverick Center, and I'll tell you, it's an interesting experience as you pull up to the arena. You're ready to go. You leave your house. You pull up and you make that left-hand turn into the stadium, and you go, oh, shit. I'm about to fight in the stadium. Here we go. It's a totally different experience, man, and it is awesome.
Andrew Boquette 2-0 in the Maverick Center. Maybe we'll see him again at some point, but might be seeing him at a different venue at some point as well. I will stay a little bit hush-hush about all of it, but there is an amateur heavyweight title fight going on later on tonight between Chris Falau and Drake Anderton. Andrew, I'll save it for that fight, but certainly one a lot of people are looking forward to.
Yeah.
First heavyweight title since Mark Gonzalez had it in December of last year.
Yeah, super exciting. Drake Anderton is not a typical heavyweight. He's moving up from 205, right? And he's got some decent grappling skills, which are rare for heavyweights. And I'm interested to see if he's going to be able to impose that on Chris Falau. In my estimation, if you have any type of grappling skills whatsoever at heavyweight, you basically have 3 wins over 90% of your competition. That being said, as I told you, I walked past Chris Falau. He is a big human being, and he's got big hands. And that's going to be the game plan going into the fight.
Such a fun one later on in our main card coverage. For right now, we'll bring out Nakia August and Brianna Woodby.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Pat's Media Productions. They put Fierce Fighting Championship into the living rooms of fierce fans everywhere. Pat's Media Productions, on behalf of the fighters and the fans everywhere, we thank you. Fierce fans, take a look at this big screen, make some noise, and welcome Nakaya August and then Brianna Woodby to the cage.
I need everybody here inside Carbon County Event Center. Put your hands together and make some noise!
Nakai's landing big shots right now. She just landed a nice left hand. Kiwi just bites down on her mouthpiece and just throws shots straight down the middle.
Declaring the winner by unanimous decision, out of the blue corner, Nakaya August, a.k.a. Kiwi.
Hype and hugs for Nakaya August, backed by her hometown. Andrew still relatively new to the one-hit crew, but tested over time enough to sling in the small gloves tonight.
Yeah, I believe previously she was training over there at Sierra, is that correct?
Fierce MMA growing up, Sierra and Dojo alongside Joel Haro, and as of January of this year, one-hit MMA.
Pretty awesome. I like her fight shorts too. She's looking good out there. The green is popping, and she is getting the crowd excited. I love it when fighters do stuff like this. It's your time. It's your show. You should have a good time, and you should take it in.
Nakaya August recently became a sports nutrition coach, specializing in optimal performance through nutrition, hoping to work a little bit closer with the MMA community here in Utah, but also beneficial to her own career as well, Andy.
Oh, 100%. Maybe I should give her a call. No, I mean, when you're look, things that are good for you are good for you, right? It sounds stupid, but when you're in the world of nutrition, you're constantly working out, you're writing plans for other people, it's good because it keeps you locked in the zone as well. So.
Nakaya August embracing Cody Bunderson, president of Fierce FC. He was her initial coach out here in Price, Utah growing up. Kissed Vince Wright as well, her boyfriend, just a few moments ago. Teague Vigil in the corner. He will also be at the controls for Dietrich Jessup later on tonight. Nakaya August, a.k.a. Kiwi, the nickname, comes from her coaches and teammates mispronouncing her name for years. It was coined by a former teammate back when she lived here in Price. It has stuck ever since. Kind of impressive to have a nickname stick for as long as Kiwi's has.
That makes sense with the green fight kit, doesn't it? Yeah, it is it is sort of impressive. Now, she's had, I was at her, that was her kickboxing debut, right, when we did the Challenger Series?
She's 1-1 in kickboxing.
1-1 in kickboxing, okay. Now, I will say, while the experience is helpful, MMA is a new ballgame.
All right, somewhat of a delayed debut, but here to answer the call is Brianna Woodby. Andrew, she has put so much into becoming a competitor over the last 2.5 years, itching to test her skills after a drop-off in April in her home state of Montana.
She looks like a prison fighter, dude. I love this. She's coming out. She looks tough. She looks mean. Again, she won the walkout song. She won the walkout song. So first battle's done. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be good. And I'm going to predict they're going to stand up and hit each other.
Well, similar to Nakaya, she started with striking. Muay Thai was her base for a long time when she got started at the Old Guard Thai Boxing Club in Austin, Texas. She later moved to Bozeman, Montana, where she has really rounded out her game. But standing and banging is something that is certainly in the arsenal for her.
Those Montana boys like to fight, don't they?
Brianna Woodby jonesing to get in there after an opponent drop-off right at the tail end of her debut camp in April. She was looking for another fight immediately, and when presented with Nakaya, she was all for it. Also had some jiu-jitsu reps in recent months. 9 competition wins, 5 of them by submission. To the tail of the tape we go. Bozeman's Brianna Woodby, 4-year senior to Nakaya. The height advantage also strikes in her box. No issue on the scale for either party as we have the final 2 amateur debuts of the evening. All right, back inside to tee it up. Here's Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is brought to you by Pat's Media Productions. This fight is an amateur flyweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyestead. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, making her amateur debut. She stands 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighed in at 124 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of One Hit MMA, hailing from Layton, Utah, by way of Price, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Nakaya August, a.k.a. Kiwi. And introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also making her amateur debut. She stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing at 122 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of top tier boxing and Montana MMA, hailing from Bozeman, Montana, by way of Flint, Michigan. Make some noise for Brianna Woodby.
Finally, fight time for Brianna Woodby in the red gloves. Nakaya August transitions to MMA in the blue gloves. This amateur flyweight bout is brought to you by Pat's Media, providing a top-tier broadcast for whatever you're looking to showcase. Pat's Media, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Did I hear that right? Flint, Michigan?
Flint, Michigan. That is what Jackson Hoop said, yep.
All right. Well, so she's probably pretty tough.
Jason Laporte, our other analyst of Fierce Fighting Championship, not here, but also a native Michigan resident back in the day.
Good right hand there.
Nice snappy jab lands for the Bozeman fighter.
Kiwi landing lots of shots here as she moves in.
Woodby with a lot of spring in her step early on. Nakaya staying calm and composed.
Woodby looks like a boxer. She's moving, moves her head, jabs and gets off the center line. She looks good.
Woodby mentioned to me she thinks her reach and her strength will give her an advantage in this one. A legitimate discrepancy in that department, 3 inches taller than August in there tonight. Nice exchange by the two. August now getting some more weapons to the target.
Nakaya's doing good here of returning punches every single time. And she gives her a smile as she lands a shot.
Always all smiles, as Nakaya August said after besting Mallory Melling last year that she felt bad about doing it. She is so kind at heart. Always good to see her on these cards, especially in front of her hometown crowd. Brianna Woodby going to work.
Woodby acknowledges the body kick, which usually means it hurts.
Nice high kick. Accurate for Nakaya, an investment to the midsection as well.
Woodby's putting in some early work with the leg kicks here.
Nice combination lands once again for the one-hit MMA fighter.
Yeah, I like the way she's switching up the angle that those shots are coming from. Good left hook there, too. Every time she lands a shot, she smiles at her opponent.
Couple of leg kicks traded back and forth as well between the two.
Nakaya's got to be careful here. She's kind of, we'll see what's happening here with Woodby, but she's fallen into a little bit of a trap. Every single time Woodby lands a leg kick, Nakaya immediately turns a leg kick, returns a leg kick, which can lead you to get set up for a big overhand right. So she's got to watch out for that. Oh, but she lands some good shots and wobbles, Woodley.
Massive crack by Nakaya, now rolling downhill. Woodby shriveled up in her corner.
Nakaya really pouring it on here, going to body head, body head.
About 15 seconds left in round number one. Woodby goes down. Nakaya August, debut successful. What a win for the Price fighter.
Bro, she was smiling while she was smashing her against the cage. Very nice performance there by Nakaya. Hurt her opponent, had her up against the cage, put a smile on her face, and got to work.
And Andrew, so evenly matched between Brianna and Nakaya. Nakaya landed the shot first that started to slow down Woodby, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, that was, it was competitive up until that point as well. It wasn't like she just ran away with the whole thing. It was a much more competitive fight than I saw her last one that she had in her kickboxing her kickboxing win. Here we go on the replay here. Nakaya hurts her and just starts marching her down. I love that she went to the head, then switched to the body and went back up to the head.
An unbelievable sequence by her. It was on the scouting report how good she is at putting together her offense. Nakaya August, a special striker, now graces the MMA side of things and is going to move to 1-0. Smiling a lot during the fight, smiling even more now, Andrew.
Yeah, and she deserves it. I mean, that was a great performance. She looked fantastic. She's got a lot of friends there in that cage, huh?
Yeah, she most certainly does. Again, made her way over to One Hit MMA in January. Seems to be paying off. We're going to make it official with hoops.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyustedt has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 47 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Nakaya August, a.k.a. Kiwi.
Nakaya August, an incredible win by you. How you feeling right now?
1 second, because I know you guys don't like cussing. Let's go! I didn't get a chance to show you guys the fighter I was in 2023, and I want to let you guys know that I am aggressive. I do not back down. And I'm mean, not to, but I didn't get to show you guys that here in Bryce. This is my hometown. I'll tell you what, I was shitting bricks back there. I was scared. I was nervous, but you know what? Since I was 13 years old, I've been fantasizing about getting in the cage. This is where my soul is meant to be. I used to fight off anger. I don't anymore. This is spiritual to me. My soul belongs to it. I want to give a shout out to my family. Everyone wearing my Kiwi Sports Nutrition shirts. I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate it. I love you guys so much, and I want to give my Teague right here a shout out. My man, we were in a fight camp together. It was great. He won last week, first round knockout, put the dude to sleep. It was awesome. I had to show him I was like him. I wake up with this man. We share energy, so. Maddie's not here, but Maddie, you guys know Maddie. Maddie was a blessing for this camp. She helped me so much. She's there every day sacrificing her time. Sorry, I'm so out of breath. But Zach too, Zach helped a ton. I want to appreciate my One Hit family. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. I love you all that came to support me, cheer me on. Let's go!
Bryce, Utah, give it up for your girl, Nakaya August.
Hey, what's going on, Price, Utah? Paul Jensen here. I'm bringing my monster trucks to Price, Utah, September 13th. 1,600 horsepower, 12,000 pounds of car-crushing madness coming straight at you. Get your tickets, monstertruckmilitia.com, or you can get them here tonight at the Fierce Fighting Championships at the Rockwell booth.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. So the girl on the right of your screen right there, Nakaya August, just comes away with a massive MMA debut win. And Andrew, we've got the replay back up once again. Symphonous with her striking.
Yeah, you see her start putting the work here. It's one thing. She had her person hurt. She had her girl hurt, and she finished her. That's awesome. But I liked how much she varied her attack. She went to the head. She went to the body. She went back up to the head, back to the body, back to the head. And that's awesome. That's that means that you've been, not only are you talented, but like you're working, because that's not something that you do unless you are a trained fighter, right? And so you like to see stuff like that.
And I will mention this as well. I think a part of it is that Nakaya's been kind of born and bred in the gym. She started here when she was a teenager. She's hopped from a couple different places, had Joel Haro as one of her main coaches for years, and now over at One Hit MMA, she seems like a shoe-in there as well, as she mentioned in her post-fight interview. All of that to be said, she was waiting for this moment for so long, and I think that's why it meant so much to her.
Yeah, it's awesome. Zach Partridge ran over here to talk to me about it right when you went into the cage, and he said, when I spar with her, every once in a while I'll hit her too hard. Zach, obviously a professional male fighter, and he goes, oh, I'm sorry, and she looks back at him and just smiles. Said she's kind of a freak. She's a crazy person.
So Nakaya August going to move to 1-0, a flyweight who seems like a new problem as well. So many people were looking forward to her striking abilities, and they certainly transferred over into this one. You said right before the fight started that it might be a little bit different, integrating in grappling, wrestling, all the different parts of MMA, but it was primarily a stand-up fight, and she came out in front because of it.
Yeah, I think both girls kind of just relegated to the fact that they just wanted to drop bombs on each other, and they decided it was basically going to be a glorified kickboxing match, right? So.
And Brianna Woodby looked so good in there as well. Tagged Nakaya with a couple of really clean shots. Again, like we mentioned, sometimes someone just gets there first, and Nakaya was the one to do so tonight.
I think Nakaya had a little bit too much of an advantage in the realm of the firepower. I think she just hit a little bit harder because, you're right, Brianna had her moments and she landed her shots, but when Nakaya landed, it did a lot more damage. And power is one of those intangibles where it's like, it's not the most important thing, but man, it can make up for a lot of lost ground.
An impressive win by Nakaya August. A good night so far for One Hit MMA. They've got a couple of fighters on this card. Mac Nui and Nakaya both getting victories. David Andrews on the short side of the scorecards. But Mac Nui, how was that knockout, Andrew? One of the biggest moments of the entire night thus far.
Yeah, that was pretty fantastic. That was that was a good one for sure.
Roxy Sosa, Virginia Rodriguez are up next. We are still awaiting Doc Murdoch. All that to be said, we've got plenty of more fights here at Fierce Challenger Series 15. A couple more before we take a short break in our intermission. But Andrew, I'll ask you this. Which rematch are you most looking forward to on the main card? Brandon Myers, Dietrich Jessup, Chloe Becker, Hannah Silva. Both rematches from October of 2022. It seems like we're ready to go. Here's Jackson Hopes.
Bears fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Tire King. Stop in and work with the honest, hard-working team here in Price, Utah, who will help you save on your tires and repairs at Tire King. Bears fans, make some noise and welcome Roxy Sosa and then Virginia Rodriguez to the cage.
All right, right back into the swing of things for Roxy Sosa. Andy, the debut didn't go her way, but has not halted her in the slightest as she's full focused on a victory tonight.
Yeah, and I love it. I love that she's walking out with I'm assuming we're seeing a Mexican flag. Yeah, okay, we're seeing a Mexican flag here, right? I love that. I've said it. I said it in the last fight too. I like it when fighters come out and they make their mark. They got their moment to be in the spotlight. They should take advantage of it. Being 0-1 is an interesting situation to be in. I've been in this spot before. I lost my first fight way back in the day, and it's hard because 0-1 can happen. It's okay. 0-2, you're starting to make a pattern out of losing, and there's a lot of additional pressure to go in there and get that win by any means necessary.
No, that's great analysis. She actually suffered a deltoid tear in her debut in her left shoulder. Nothing too major, just had to take a few weeks off before revving up for another. But when Zach Partridge said that she was going to be slated on this card just 2 months removed from that debut loss, I was shocked, Andy.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is to get right back on the saddle, right? And that's what she did. You know what's interesting? Over in her corner, we got Brittany and Mike Jones. How often do we see a married couple be in the corner of a fight?
I can't ever remember one personally, no.
This is probably it, other than, of course, me and Jeremy Horn, right? It's more of a father-son thing than a husband-wife thing, but whatever floats your boat.
Roxy Sosa looking forward to committing to her strikes a little bit more, letting those fly. She'll await Virginia Rodriguez. All right, back-to-back road walks for Virginia Rodriguez. Andrew, she is as tough as they come when that cage door closes as she welcomes another young striker in Roxy Sosa tonight.
Yeah, 1-3, another fighter that wants to come in here and definitely make her fight or mark. I will say, though, 4 fights is a lot of experience versus someone who is 0-1 due to an injury. So big advantage here for Virginia.
Back-to-back bouts in the state of Utah. She fought Asia Negron in January. Andrew, she has such a rugged style as she keeps coming forward no matter what is thrown her way.
Yeah, fighters who fight that way initially can be kind of tough because they'll start relying on their toughness sometimes a little bit too much. But if you have that in you and then you can start backing it up with some tangible skill sets, you can become a really big problem for a lot of fighters.
Virginia Rodriguez out of Team No Excuse in Nampa, Idaho. Got a couple of fighters on this card. Johnny Perez will head the corner for both. Also cornering Chloe Becker later on in our main card alongside Hannah Silva. Again, Virginia Rodriguez, 40 years of age. A really, really talented fighter. Got her first win via unanimous decision in August of 2022. It was her debut. Hasn't been able to strike the win column since, but has been in competitive matchups nonetheless. All right, a couple of featherweights going head-to-head in this one. 14 years sit between the pair. As we pull up our tail of the tape, Rodriguez is 40. Sosa stands taller at 5'7", with the weight being no issue last night. Rodriguez searches for a second win. Sosa targets her first. All right, Mike seems to be hot. Here's Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is brought to you by Tire King. This fight is an amateur featherweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyastad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 0 wins and 1 loss. She stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Excite MMA, hailing from Mexico City, Mexico. Fierce fans, make some noise for Roxy Sosa. And introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 3 losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing at 144 pounds. Fighting out of Team No Excuse, hailing from Caldwell, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Virginia Rodriguez.
Another walk at Fierce for Virginia Rodriguez, sporting the red glove. Same can be said about Roxy Sosa, who reacts in the blue gloves. This amateur featherweight bout is brought to you by Tire King. Save today with an upgraded, safer vehicle. Tire King, an official sponsor of Fierce FC. One more after this at cruiserweight. Jesus Graterol, Parker A. Beglin waiting in the wings for now. Sosa and Rodriguez to throw for 3 3-minute rounds potentially.
Got to give props to Rodriguez for getting there at 40 years of age, huh?
Another fight, too, her second of 2025. Fought at the Masonic Temple, now out here in Price, Utah.
That's
with
a
her teammate.
fantastic leg kick. And a good one, too, as well. I like they're taking the fight nice and slow. Not rushing. Although I will say, this is absolutely in Rodriguez's advantage for Sosa to go slow like this.
Why would you say that?
Sosa's a much younger fighter. You know, as you get older, your reaction time starts to get just a little bit slower. It's harder to keep a good gas tank.
High head movement is always on high alert for Virginia Rodriguez. We saw it a lot versus Asia Negron. Another boxer in front of her in Roxy Sosa, but Rodriguez really gets the offense going early on round 1.
Look how calm Rodriguez is in there.
Very stoic demeanor for her, no doubt about it. Tries to pop out another one, unable to land it.
It doesn't seem like Sosa is throwing her punches with the intention to hurt Rodriguez. It looks like she's just throwing them. Although that was a good shot on her part. Rodriguez is throwing pretty hard.
An impressive thing for Roxy Sosa to throw with a 5-fight veteran in Nicole Funga in May and now a 4-fight veteran in Virginia Rodriguez. Constant movement on her end, trying to infiltrate inside. Primarily a boxer for the majority of her life.
You know, when you just mentioned that, the disparity in experience, I'm just thinking to myself, it's actually quite hard to be a female fighter. There's not a whole lot of options for who you can fight, and you got to sort of take them when they come.
One of the more tenured names at Excite MMA at this point, Roxy Sosa. Again, her second walk of 2025. Trying to get inside that range. Steps back outside, but puzzle piecing her way in.
Good
nice
right
crack by Rodriguez.
Yeah, absolutely. Good right hand there. Brittany Jones, longtime Muay Thai participant, athlete, I believe, as well. Cornered a lot of fighters over the years, imploring her fighter Sosa to get going, go in and land shots.
Is it the range more than anything that she's trying to get inside? Because it seems like it's a distance issue over anything else.
It seems like there's a bit of timidity on both of their ends. But to be honest with you, I think Virginia's sort of winning these exchanges just enough that the earnest isn't really on her, although that was another good shot landed by Sosa.
Nice collar tie to close out the round. Potentially leaning towards Virginia Rodriguez. I apologize. Roxy Sosa looks good as well.
I think I would agree with that. Brittany over there is telling her to stop leaning back when she's throwing her shots and go forward. It's one of those interesting things. When you throw punches, people have a tendency, especially when they first start, to throw them and lean back because it feels like you're safe, but what you're actually doing is you're elevating your head to be on a platter for your opponent to hit.
Over in the corner, Roxy Sosa, she is so attentive, nodding and speaking very clearly to Mike Jones alongside Brittany Jones as well. Good sign, Andrew, headed into the second round.
Yeah.
But also, what do you think might be being said in terms of urgency? Because it seems like that's what's being preached.
What I'm assuming that they're telling them, having trained with both Brittany and Mike for over almost a decade, both of them at this point. And Chris Hardman over in the back yelling at her as well, of course, from the leader of Excite MMA over there. What I'm assuming they're going to tell her is to bite down on her mouthpiece, put her head forward, and step into her shots. Like I indicated before, it doesn't really look like she's throwing with a purpose, and that's what we want right there. Exactly what I said. Now she's coming forward, and she's going to start trying to land some bigger punches here, and that's what she needs to do.
Velocity potted up for sure for Roxy Sosa in the opening strike attempts. Fun phone booth exchange between the two. Couple of glances landed.
Can you tell Dave to move, Blake? Mike Jones imploring his athlete to throw with some intent here for Sosa.
Still just not completely on the inside. Stepped in there, but Rodriguez able to evade.
Yeah, Rodriguez sort of just taking her time and waiting for her spots. I will say, though, while this is strategically a good way to should win a fight, sometimes it's hard for the judges to tell who's actually winning and who's not. And Sosa has been pushing forward.
Nice spinning back fist lands for the Idaho fighter. Followed it up with a nice popped-out jab as well. Rodriguez now starting to feint it a little bit more. When you start to pose that threat, Andrew, it becomes another weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. Virginia's starting to get a little bit more loose in there, too.
Again, Rodriguez hasn't been able to strike the win column since August of 2022. It was a unanimous decision in her debut. Been a little bit of time, but certainly seems to have the weapons to get it done here tonight. Roxy Sosa aims downstairs.
And I'd really like to see Virginia. I think that she has the advantage, but she's not pressing it enough to where she's going to be winning these rounds like super clearly. It's not out of the question that Sosa could have taken that last round. I do think that it should have gone to Virginia, but it's not like super apparent.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Virginia kind of step on the gas here a little bit. But she's almost exclusively relegated herself to waiting to counterpunch.
Heavy leg kick lands as well for the no excuse fighter.
Those have been her best shots of the night.
Sosa went for that big knee, hits air, unable to land anything of substance. Rodriguez combs the chin.
It's interesting because Sosa has these pockets where she looks great and she's explosive and she lands good punches, and then she kind of goes back to punching air. See, she's really not...
Make some noise for round 2.
She's really not stepping in trying to land her shots. It's almost like she's pawing at her. I don't know if that's because she's afraid to get in, but that's not going to be enough. Brittany Jones with a smile on her face, trying to keep her athlete positive mental attitude, which is important. Everybody's different.
Andrew, how hard is it to gauge in a fight like this, whether you're up or you're down, where nothing crazy has happened, no big knockdowns? Virginia Rodriguez has definitely had bigger moments, but is it hard for either side, maybe Roxy Sosa, to go, oh, I am 2 down, or maybe it's 1-1?
You got to trust your coaches.
Yeah.
You got to trust your coaches. It's one thing that I really respect a lot about Jeremy Horn. If we're losing rounds, he comes over and like it's the first thing out of his mouth. Hey, you fought like shit. You lost that round. You got to get in there and get after it. And it's important because it doesn't help your corner, and we've both seen it in the UFC, where a fighter will lose a round and the corner will go back and go, you did great. No, you didn't. You didn't do great, and you need to do something here. But I'll tell you right now, Mike Jones is not doing that. I know him well
I was
enough.
going to say.
It's not going to happen here. Mike Jones is a very hard-nosed, cutthroat kind of guy. He's from Price, Utah himself. And so I guarantee you, we told her she needs to put her foot on the gas and she needs to get after it here.
Top of round 3 we go. 3 minutes before we go back to the judges. Nice exchange in favor of Rodriguez once again.
Virginia's got a great back leg kick. She should keep going to that.
Threw that a lot as well alongside Asian Negron, but certainly more effective in there tonight. A smile from Rodriguez as well as she puts Roxy in motion.
Looked like they were talking to each other a little bit. I'm always a big fan of that. Not for my fighters, but I like it when they do it in there.
Back into the grappling we go. Sosa trying to wrap up Rodriguez.
Brittany Jones in the corner yelling for the underhook, which is absolutely right.
Nice work by the Idaho fighter to keep Roxy at bay, not mat her.
Virginia's just trying to head drag. If either one of these girls went for double underhooks, they'd get a pretty easy takedown, but we go for the break instead. How do you score this so far, Blake?
Tough to say as we reach the halfway point of round number 3. Leaning Rodriguez right now up 2, to be completely honest with you. Just not a whole lot of offense garnered up by Rodriguez. Another inside leg kick bruises the inside.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing it the same way as well. Sosa landing some good shots here, putting in some work. That's exactly what she needs to do. And her corner lights up as they see some glimmers of hope coming out of Sosa here in the last minute of the 3rd round.
Rodriguez infiltrates through the guard a couple of times. Sosa, some shining moments.
Sosa's starting to feel it here a little bit.
Under a minute to decide this one. Sosa would likely need a finish in order to pull this one off and move to 1-1.
But man, you never know.
Big swing and a miss by the Bluffdale fighter.
Sosa stays on her here. She might steal this away.
Nice chop to the body by Rodriguez. Rodriguez more so on the back foot here in round number 3, especially in the second half of it. But moving well, head movement on high alert as Sosa's trying to find the off button. Waning seconds here before we go back to the Utah Athletic Commission.
What you're seeing right now is the way that Sosa should have been fighting this fight from the first seconds of round number 1. When you're in there with somebody who's 40 years old, no offense, I'm 35 myself, right? Not exactly a spring chicken. You need to put your foot on the gas and start making them fight. But if you let someone who's been training for a long time sit on the outside, you're going to have problems. Think of a guy like Wonderboy in the UFC, right? I don't care who you are in the UFC. If you sit on the outside with that guy and you kickbox with him, he's going to get you eventually, right? But if you push him into the cage, you start dragging him down, you make it dirty, you can have some success. It's what you need to do, and unfortunately she didn't figure that out until about 30 seconds into the third round. 30 seconds left in the third round.
So back to the scorecards we go. Roxy Sosa and Virginia Rodriguez go the distance. Rodriguez looking for her first win in 3 years. Roxy Sosa looking to itch in her first. We will have to see where the Athletic Commission sways. But it seems as though, upon the estimation of Andy, that Virginia Rodriguez has gotten it done. A loss in January, but looks like she has written her wrongs. Still awaiting the judges' scorecards. The team No Excuse got one more later on tonight.
I looked at Mike Jones asking what he thought, and he blew me a kiss. I'm not sure what that means.
Roxy Sosa, her second fight since May of this year. Incredibly impressive to see her so active. You talked about the importance of getting a win tonight, but Andrew, if it doesn't go her way, what is it going back to the drawing board?
She didn't fight like a fighter. She fought like she was sparring. And so if you're going to come out into the cage, to be frank with you, to be totally honest, we're going to be brutally honest, she's lucky she fought someone who didn't put the gas on, or put her foot on the gas, because if she would have had a little bit more of a dangerous opponent who was going after the finish, it's likely she would have got hurt. If you're going to come in here, you got to fight like a fighter, and she didn't do that tonight.
All right, let's go ahead and make it official with Hoops.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 30-27, 29-28, and 30-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision. Out of the red corner, Virginia Rodriguez.
Virginia Rodriguez, first win since August of 2022. How does that feel?
I feel like I'm still like in the gym training. You know, it's what I do. I'm a mom of 3, and discipline and consistency is what it takes. And you never give up, and you just keep going, and then you make it a dogfight.
So impressive by you in there tonight. How much were you looking forward to this matchup with Roxy Sosa when you kind of looked through the scouting report?
You know, I was really hoping I was fight number 1. I just want to come in here, do what I know, and get out.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big-time win. Give it up for Virginia Rodriguez.
FST. Who is FST filtration? What is FST filtration? You see, FST is more than a filter company just trying to be cool. FST is a solution-based company in the heart of Utah, where hard work is embedded in its roots, and providing superior indoor air quality is our mission. FST has risen to the challenges that everyday people face. As new challenges present themselves, we too shall rise to the occasion. Manufacturing is the backbone of America, and our employees are the backbone of FST. So when choosing your next filter for your home or building, don't choose any filter. Choose FST. Small business, family owned, since 2001.
Virginia Rodriguez getting the job done alongside Roxy Sosa in a unanimous decision. Said she wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. Now moves to 2 and 3. A big one at cruiserweight. Jesus Graterol alongside Parker A. Beglin. Headlining the prelims, Andrew. This is a good one.
Yeah, so Jesus fought one of my teammates last time he was out there. And that kid can crack. I believe he broke his opponent's orbital bone. Do you know, is that correct?
Yeah.
So that kid can smash. Haven't seen Parker yet, but I mean, man, if it's anything like that first fight, this will be a good one.
Definitely will be. Jackson Hoops ready to get his prime for it.
Fierce fans, our final fight of the preliminary card is sponsored by R&A Market and Deli. Located in Helper, Utah, this small family-owned local grocery store has a full butcher counter, bakery, deli platter, fresh-baked cookies, and delicious organic produce at R&A Market and Deli. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome the final two fighters of the preliminary card, Parker Abeglin and then Jesus Gratero to the cage. Take a look at the big screen right here.
A familiar foe in front of him tonight. Enter Parker Abeglin. Andrew, two guys who have slapped and bumped in a jiu-jitsu setting before, but both parties have a win over the other. Makes for a lot of parity in this one.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I was not aware of that. Obviously, MMA is not jiu-jitsu. We've seen out of Parker really good grappling in his previous fight, really heavy wrestling, dominant game. It's pretty rare to see a guy that's his size at his weight have that fight style where they're going to relentlessly pursue takedown after takedown. That's what he did in his last fight, and it paid off for him. I will say, in Jesus' last outing, the spots where we saw him weakest in were in the wrestling exchanges. So I'm sure that's what Parker is going to be looking to do here as they face off.
Parker Abeglin, once a wrestler, track star, football player, so many here locally at Emory High School as well as Carbon High School in the two-way class sing his praises. Empire MMA now in Cedar City. They are 2-0 this year under the fierce banner. Abeglin looks to stay that course for his club.
This is a fun one because you have two young guys. Both of them are 1-0, right? Both of them think that they're like, Jesus was very not humble in his victory, right? You tagged me in that, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I love that about him, right? And so a lot of times when you have two guys that are coming in talking a lot of trash, you get fun fights.
Abeglin's chin was certainly tested last year versus Vincent Vanisi. Parker the Princess Abeglin, the nickname comes from being late to practices, and typically he was the one that coaches wanted to practice the move for the entire class to see. And so when he was late, his coach would say, "Get on the mat, Princess, you're late."
That's funny. And hey, look at the shorts to match it.
Parker Abeglin alongside Jesus Gratero. We will wait for him. Quick up and back for Park City's Jesus Gratero. Andrew, it took just over a minute in round two to best Brandon Monson. 2 months ago, already at another walk, as confident as can be.
Yeah, as we saw in that fight with Brandon, Jesus has got some really, really heavy hands. And he comes out, I mean, look, he trains at Rise Boxing. It's probably not a big secret what he's going to be trying to do in this fight, right? It's one of the interesting things about local MMA is you kind of get an idea right away of who they train with, of what the strategy is going to be. So, you know, I think probably what we're going to see here is we're going to see Princess try to get the fight to the ground. We're going to see Jesus try to tuck the Princess into bed, put him to sleep.
No, impressive hands by Jesus Gratero for sure. Averaged a knockdown every 82 seconds in his debut. He had 3 of them. His hands are fast, and he holds a lot of power in them.
Yeah, he certainly does. Do you know, is Jesus, are both of these guys looking to move down to 205 after these fights?
I've heard that there's rumblings of it. I know Parker Abeglin was in light heavyweight last year when he faced Vincent Vanisi. Not so sure about Jesus Gratero, but cruiserweight, as long as Zach Partridge wants to put together this weight class, is happy to be here.
perhaps could we get a belt?
I believe so. I mean, if it's a legitimate weight class that we are practicing out of, I think it is certainly in the cards for sure. Jesus Graterol alongside Parker, a Beglen prelim headliner. We pull up our tail of the tape. Graterol, 3 years younger, 3 inches taller is a Beglen. Both sides pass the scale test with flying colors with some unscathed records going head to head. Fun one for the fans. Let's get it going with Jackson.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by R&A Market and Deli. This fight is an amateur cruiserweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighing in at 222 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Empire MMA, hailing from Cedar City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Parker, the Princess A. Bedland. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 221 pounds. Fighting out of Rise Boxing and Classic Fight Team, hailing from Ciudad Bolivar, Venezuela. Fierce fans, make some noise for Jesus Gratero.
Wax with confidence is Jesus. The red gloves, Parker A. Beglen, back in front of a hometown crowd in the blue. This amateur cruiserweight bout is brought to you by R&A Market. Food in the end is our tradition. R&A Market, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Steve Ergel calling for some early takedowns here, and he sounds adamant about it.
Nice opening exchange for Graterol.
Steve's telling him to get him on the ground. Parker stood right up and started rolling punches.
A Beglen rocking those pink shorts. Graterol went for that uppercut. That was the one that finished off Brandon Monson in May.
It was a really nice overhand right by Parker.
A Beglen looks significantly bigger in there as well tonight, Andrew.
Yeah, he absolutely does. He looks like he's a heavyweight, actually, is what he looks like.
222.5 on the scale last night for him. Nice inside leg kick lands as well for the Cedar City fighter.
We've seen a lot of 225-pound heavyweights have a lot of success with 260-pound heavyweights in this sport.
Nice knee up the middle for Graterol, one of the higher level strikes he's landed thus far.
Parker got that whizzer and threw him like he was nothing. Parker reversed that really fast.
Looks like we got a low blow. The offender being a Beglen. Graterol heads over and follows the instructions of Dave Selyusted.
This is one of the worst things that can happen to you. From my opinion, having the action stopped like this is one of the most nerve-wracking, like throws off your rhythm kind of things.
Quick warning by Dave Selyusted as he gets the wheel turning once again. Graterol gets right back to headhunting. A Beglen doing a good job staying upright.
Parker turned him again easily with the whizzer, even while Jesus had that underhook. And we'll see if Parker's able to get this single leg. Runs him to his butt. Daniel Cormier style. Beautiful takedown.
Nice work by a Beglen, as well as a face-crushing ground and pound shot. Graterol now trying to set up the triangle from bottom.
This is going to be tough against a guy this size, though. And Parker gets out.
A head-dribbling shot landed as soon as he secured the takedown, Andrew. That was a big one for Parker.
Yeah, that was beautiful. North-south position here is nice. Kind of a little bit more of a nuanced position. A lot of people don't work from here.
Great spot to be for a Beglen with 55 seconds to go in round number 1. Also a very tough spot for Graterol to really get his frames inside, able to do so as a Beglen stepped up towards side control.
Jesus did a great job there of getting his hips elevated and getting back to a half guard position. Parker with the cross face to keep Jesus' back here on the mat.
Again, October of last year, they faced off in a jiu-jitsu match. Parker won the no-gi match 7-6. The rematch was gi. Jesus won 8-0.
Interesting. If the gi mattered in MMA, I might care about that.
Trying to wrap up that chin.
This seems unlikely to be successful, but it's not fun, and it's mean.
Not a whole lot of time to work for Abe Beglin, but a good spot to close out the round.
No, this has been an absolutely dominant round for
Make some
Parker.
noise for round one.
Jesus Gratero makes eye contact with me really quick, smiles and gives me the thumbs up as Abe Beglin was gearing towards the back. So good to see the spirits are still high. We move over to the corner of Parker Abe Beglin.
That's good to hear. So oftentimes fighters are self-defeatist. They lose a round, which he clearly did, and then all the life drains out of him. It's nice to see that's not happening from Jesus, especially when he's only fought one other time.
Abe Beglin was told by his coaches to get this fight to the mat, and so far doing so, and it's paying off. Round number one likely to go to him. But, Andrew, you keep talking about the size discrepancy, also the strength discrepancy. When things get tied up, he's the one coming out on top almost every time.
Yeah, Parker is winning these exchanges, and even when he has an inferior position. Like, Jesus has an underhook pushing him up against the cage, and Parker just throws him off. Jesus has got to not engage with the grappling at all. He needs to punch his way out and make sure that he doesn't get tied up, because Parker seems to be very, very physically strong in these positions.
Top of round two of a possible three, brought to you by RNA Market. Gratero goes for the home run hit, unable to land it.
Interesting strategy here from Jesus to go in and grapple immediately. He almost just got taken down, grabbed the cage. Dave Selyustad giving him a warning, and he's going to go down with the same move anyway.
Another beautiful trip for the former Emory High School wrestler. Again, we talked about how high level he was growing up. And, Andrew, the only reason I bring it up is because every time I mention Parker Abe Beglin to a local here, they go, oh, my gosh, that guy was a problem when it came to throwing discus as well as on the wrestling mat.
That's all. I mean, there you go. You got to be strong to be doing those sports, right? It's interesting that Jesus chose to get into the grappling immediately with him. I don't think – oh, my goodness, Parker lands a good right hand on his way in. Jesus got a chin on him, huh?
Absolutely. Abe Beglin has thrown a couple of those, the one from Mount, but also right there in the center. Gratero coming right back with his own form of offense.
I have to wonder if this is a pride thing, where Jesus just wants to show that he can grapple with Parker, since he has beaten him before, and Parker very much won the first round via grappling.
Lost a mouthpiece. Also, Dave Selyustad sternly warning Gratero not to grab the fence a couple of times over there in that area of the cage. He has done so. Big time overhand right. Abe Beglin keeps his sights set on a takedown.
Yeah, that was really nice forward pressure there, and Parker going to be potentially tying these legs up. Jesus with a good sprawl, circling out. Parker still has the underhook, though, and he's still working towards the grappling. This is what we saw in the first fight, right? Parker not giving up on his shots and continuing to shoot. This is the thing that makes you a dangerous grappler to deal with. Shooting one shot and that's it, that's not that scary, but a guy who will not stop and is relentless in his pursuit of the takedown, it's really a pain in the butt, and it can be a lot to deal with, especially when you're tired.
A couple of heavy leg stomps by the two at cruiserweight. Abe Beglin fighting for head position, now trying to get underneath once again and drag Gratero down to the mat near his corner.
He's got both legs. It looks like he's just going for a ride.
40 seconds remaining in round number two. Parker Abe Beglin back in the driver's seat. He has had such a solid round, but Jesus Gratero did land a nuclear shot.
He did, but they're up against the cage. He should be able to reverse this. There he goes. Let's see if Parker can take the back. Jesus is so tired, man.
And impressive for Abe Beglin to stay on the back in that exchange. Gratero had a good escape. Abe Beglin just one step ahead.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that is from fatigue, which is a skill set in and of itself, and it's the skill set that you can control the most. Let's see if Parker's able to shut this out. Really short time remaining. Most likely not, but kind of cruises his way to a
Make some noise
2
for
rounds to
round
none.
two.
All right, so we'll jump over to Jesus Graterol's corner. Marco Sanchez alongside Chris Ventura over there. Lots being talked about probably on that side of the cage, Andrew. What do you think is number one in terms of talking points for these 60 seconds?
If I'm his coach, I'm telling him to stop clinching, because I would have already told him to stop clinching. Maybe a smack in the face is in order right now. Jesus needs to get busy with his hands. When he comes forward hard and he lands shots, but then he immediately closes the distance, which gives Parker an opportunity to impose his game. He needs to stop doing that. He needs to land his shots and then circle out to the right.
Graterol over in his corner. Still seems to be attentive, but if he is going to pull off a finish, it's got to be right now in these final 3 minutes.
Yeah, he's going to have to put his foot on the gas here and get after it again. He needs to throw his shots, and he can't just cannonball into Parker. He's going to have to hit him and then rotate out or switch to a takedown himself. But getting into these exchanges where they're doing like this upper body grappling and pummeling, literally not a single time has it gone in favor of Jesus. He's lost every single exchange.
Just got word from Zach Partridge. It is likely that we will be canceling the intermission, and we will move straight into main card fights. Nice exchange by the two. Abe Beglin closes in the distance, but Graterol able to separate once again, like you mentioned, Andrew.
Yeah, this is the secret to Jesus' success right here. Now he needs to back out, and again, right? Parker gets a hold of him, and then if he gets this takedown, it's likely the fight's over. So, I see something awesome here.
Graterol had a little bit of an awkward fall. Seems to still have his wits about him. A Beglin high up on the neck, trying to peel underneath and close this one out early round 3.
A little bit too excited to jump there. Jesus needs to let go of this. He needs to let go. He's in Kimura territory here as well. I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't want Parker grabbing a Kimura on my arm.
A Beglin's corner calling for him to rip it up. Also difficult when those arms start to get sweaty. They do start to slip a little bit, Andrew.
As we just saw there.
Unable to pull it off. But a big-time low blow drops A Beglin down to his knees.
Dave is likely going to take a point here. Yep.
Grabbing the cage, also a low blow. Jesus Graterol loses a point. Just heard Dave Sellistead say, stop it. Parker A. Beglin in a world of pain right now, hunched over.
Marco is coaching right now. He's not supposed to be, but that is a good move on his part, and he is telling his fighter to go after him the moment they say go.
Hands on his knees, some blood now dropping out.
I like this for the bigger guys. Maybe we should just give him a break in the round 3. give him a couple minutes off.
Nearing the halfway point here of round number 3, a minute 47 to go before we go to the scorecards. A Beglin getting his breath back.
He should take all the time he needs. He got hit with a serious low blow there. He should just take his time and get back in there when he's ready to go.
All right, back to the action we go. A Beglin now has profuse amount of blood populating through that nose. Got bruised up a little bit last year as well. Graterol immediately goes to tie up. Now A Beglin, the one trying to move around the cage.
Good head movement there from Parker. Parker looks like he's pretty hurt after that low blow. Parker just landed a beautiful right hand as Jesus came in. In my estimation, he needs to get the fight to the ground.
A Beglin back to his bread and butter. About 70 seconds to decide this one.
This is an extremely dangerous position for fighters who are north of 200 and something pounds. This kind of turtle position where a lot of jiu-jitsu players like to hang out because it's very defensively sound is only defensively sound when you can't hit the other person. For these big guys, this is a fight-ending position. So if Parker can get his right hand free, he can start landing some really, really punishing shots from here. And Jesus is going to have to do more here than just grab the hands and hold on, because if he does this, they're just going to finish the round and Parker's going to end up winning 3-0.
Especially with that lost point, might even see a 26. But Graterol has had a better third round. Trying to peel his way around as A Beglin continues to be a suffocating grappler in there. 20 seconds remaining.
Such a difficult fight to deal with somebody doing this to you. But you know what? To Parker's credit, it's not like he's just grabbing these positions and doing nothing. I mean, he's landing some like serious offense from these spots.
A win would be 2 in a row, both here in Price, Utah, and Parker A. Beglin seems to be a real problem when it comes to these heavier weights. Hands up in the air. He seems as though he's gotten it done. Wasn't the finish that he got last year, but maybe even a better performance. Seen leaps and bounds in terms of his skill sets, Andrew.
100%, in my opinion, it's a better performance. It's against a more game opponent, a more dangerous opponent. And he implemented his game plan really well. A little bit, he went outside of the bounds of what Steve Urgel was telling him to do with getting the fight to the mat. He stood up probably a little bit more than he should have, although the experience is good to have. But for the most part, he just dominated, did exactly what he wanted to do. Wasn't really a super competitive fight. Jesus had his spots, but most of the time it was Parker dictating the pace and the flow of the fight.
All right, so once again, we are going to be sending it to the scorecards. Again, if you're just joining us, Nico Suascoon and Callan Curtis are up next. They were originally slated for the main card. We are not doing an intermission. We are going to be running straight through the entirety of this card. So it'll be Callan Curtis, Nico Suascoon at bantamweight. Following that, it'll be a pair of rematches in Dietrich Jessup and Brendan Myers alongside Hannah Silva and Chloe Becker. Couple of big ones, as well as an amateur heavyweight title and a professional matchup in Jason Urgel and Hal Mitchell. Had a great time so far here in Price, Utah. Always happy to be here with the local fans. Parker A. Beglin, we will see if he gets the nod, but it seems as though it is leaning that way. Virginia Rodriguez, as well as Nakaya August with a beautiful first-round finish. Ruben Rivera really splashed onto the scene as well, Andrew, and it thinks he's going to be a problem for a lot of these flyweights posing in the future.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, kind of like you had mentioned, how many fights before he goes pro, I got to think we probably might see it next year. And that will be an exciting thing. It's always good when you have a new, young, exciting fighter who really gets after it in fights like that, right? It's just so much fun to watch.
So many people often talk about how flyweight is more of the boring weight classes. People don't like seeing those matchups. I have always tended to disagree, and I think a lot of the hardcore fans typically don't align with that statement.
Look, it's no secret, and I say this is a heavyweight. The skills start at 125 pounds, and as you go up, they get worse, right? Like, the best fighters in the world are down at that weight. It is what it is. Those fights are incredible. If you don't like them, you know, I understand maybe you should watch Bare Knuckle because those guys get after it.
All right, seems as though Jackson Hoops has got his scorecards ready to go. We will stage the two cruiserweights and kick it inside.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 29-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision. Out of the blue corner, Parker, the Princess of Beglin.
Parker, the Princess A. Beglin, getting the job done. He moves to 2-0. Well, you will not want to miss any of the action packing into the Maverick Center on August 16th. We'll give you a look into what to expect and be back with more Fierce Challenger Series 15.
The pop when you come out here is so loud and it is so electric.
Been able to conjure up a crowd of fans.
The biggest card of the year.
Let's go.
Face first into the canvas. Muscle piece finishing blow.
That right hand was nuclear.
Sits him down and shuts him off. Manel Woodhouse. Nasir Davis with a flashy finish.
This place is going wild for Justin Horsley.
He's been checking all the boxes, getting ready for this fight.
Head hunting in the debut.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's one of the top pros in the state right now.
Takes care of business here in Salt Lake City.
What a card we've got coming to the Maverick Center on August 16th. So many big-time names when we talk about that Fierce Fighting Championship 42 live from the Maverick Center. Our first time back there in about a year. Parker A. Beglin handles things with the judges as Nico Suascoon and Callan Curtis are ready to come out But we hear once again that we've got to stretch for just a little bit of time on this broadcast. A little bit longer-winded than we've had in recent memory. Fierce Fighting Championship, typically accustomed to a fast show tonight. Not necessarily the case, Andrew.
You know, you take the wins with the losses, and you just kind of see how it goes. But I will say, the fights have been good.
Fights have been good. Who do you think for you has really flown off the film?
It's hard to not pick Ruben Rivera just because it's so exciting. But to be honest with you, I think I'm going to pick Parker from our last fight. Like I was saying, and to be honest, I think he would be wise to go up to heavyweight and not be a cruiserweight. As you go down to 205, honestly, the guys get better. And with his skill set, I mean, think about the heavyweights in the state, especially in amateur. Like, do you really feel like a whole lot of guys can handle that?
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
When you have that wrestling ability, it's almost like a secret weapon. It's funny because I don't necessarily think jiu-jitsu is like the quote-unquote best martial art, but if you know it and the other guy doesn't, you might as well know magic because they can't beat you. And you couple that with a good wrestling game, and it just, it stacks.
To the bigger bodies, down to bantamweight we go. Let's get it started with hoops.
Fierce fans, welcome to the main card. Everybody tuning into the pay-per-view and everybody here in Price, Utah, put your hands together and make some noise! We're going to start this card off with our next fight of the evening, sponsored by Southeast Paint and Design, located right here in Price, Utah. They provide all painting and design services and will help you turn your house into your home at Southeast Paint and Design. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Nico Suascoon and then Callan Curtis to the cage.
Well, a new weight class will probably bring even more spark to his style. Here is Nico Suascoon. Andrew, always in intriguing matchups. We'll see what he looks like after a year-plus layoff.
Nico's fun in basically every fight that he's in, right? He's exciting. He's high energy. You can tell that by his walkout right now. And he's from Excite MMA. We can expect him to have good cardio and carry that on.
Just under 3 minutes and 30 seconds of total cage time in 2 fights. It comes from 2 first-round exits, a win and a loss. And Andrew, despite the loss, spent 1 minute and 20 seconds on the back of Nico Mascareñas in his last walk. Suascoon really scopes out that back take for a lot of his offense.
You know, there's something about fighters that just I don't have decisions, right? Craig Ross comes to mind, fighter from almost a decade ago, one of my coaches over at Elite Performance. I think he's got like 30 or 40 professional fights. He's been to a decision once in his life. So it's one of those, it's kind of fun when you have a fighter who's like, bro, either you're going to go or I'm going to go, but somebody's going to go.
Suascoon's first walk in 13 months. Had to focus on school at UVU, now transferring down to St. George soon to attend Utah Tech. He'll be training at Fusion MMA with Aaron Reese. A great spot to go from Excite MMA down to Fusion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Aaron Reese does a really good job out there. Very good at picking matchups as well, and it's a good coach to be under.
Nico Suascoon, I'm reminded of his debut, that blinding speed when closing distance. Came away with one of the best submissions on all of 2024, and now heads into his 3rd amateur fight. Enters the cage as he will dance with Callan Curtis. Well, it's been 1 year since Callan Curtis competed in his backyard of Price, Utah. Andrew got some striking in at our kickboxing show in May, now returns to MMA for potentially a final time in a while.
Yeah, it's always good to be getting that experience in different art forms, whether it's kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, like whatever it is, just getting those reps in there is good, staying busy. Even more important, 1-0 it's kind of interesting. I'm sure Nico's like, I'm going to drop you to 1-1. How about that?
Callan Curtis, he's mentioned to me that this might be it for MMA for some time. The primary focus after tonight will be jiu-jitsu. He has leveled up so much in his wrestling as well as his kickboxing, rounded out his game over the year. We saw a one-sided affair alongside Dalton Moon. It was primarily with his wrestling. I'm curious if we see some more stand-up exchanges in favor of him.
Yeah, perhaps. When you're fighting an opponent who just wants to come after you, a lot of times that can really lead really well into your wrestling-heavy game. Another really interesting thing, it is captivating to hear you say maybe his last MMA fight is going to focus on grappling. I really give the grapplers a lot of respect who don't really necessarily love MMA, but they want to come in to show that they can do it, and then they focus on their grappling. I think that's a really commendable thing.
All right, main card coverage begins at bantamweight. Callan Curtis will sit the senior at 28. Suascoon gives up 3 inches in height. 1 pound on the scale as well. Want to know the record for Curtis, and 1-1 in the return for El Changuito.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Southeast Paint and Design. This fight is an amateur bantamweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyastad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighed in at 134 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Excite MMA, hailing from Lehigh, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Nico El Changuito Suascoon. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 135 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Fierce MMA, hailing from Price, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Callan Curtis.
Callan Curtis cracks the canvas in the red gloves. Nico Suascoon answers in the blue. This amateur bantamweight bout is powered by Southeast Paint and Design, conducting business with compassion and attention to detail, coupled with an exceptional selection of high-quality paint supplies. Southeast Paint and Design, an official sponsor of Fierce FC. Straight into the main card coverage we go. Couple more after this. Callan Curtis, the local, Suascoon, fast twitched. On the other side.
There it is. Nico's got some freaking tree trunks for thighs, huh?
He most certainly does. And down 10 pounds for this one as well. His first 2 fights were at featherweight, but Curtis has his way first.
Oh, look at that.
Quite creative by Suascoon, trapping that far side arm. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, I'm like sitting here and I'm like, is he going to go for the arm bar and the other arm? Like, what is about to happen? That was very, very interesting. Beautiful hip toss, though, from Curtis.
Can't necessarily pull off any sort of submission, but a reversal is certainly in the cards from that spot.
I mean, not one that I know of. So. It's so interesting, the evolution of grappling, and not only in MMA, just in general, because side control used to be a premier position, and because of things like that, it's actually starting to become not a very powerful spot to be as grapplers become more creative. Of course, the buggy choke comes to mind. Whatever Nico's doing.
Never seen that before. See if he can introduce something to Fusion MMA down in St. George in a couple of months.
Nico's trying to go for the sweep. Be a lot more effective if he could get a butterfly with his outside leg.
Callan Curtis, so successful when grappling last year again versus Dalton Moon. Only time that he was really against the cards was when Moon put together a guillotine. Suascoon able to put it back into his hands with a beautiful takedown.
How strong is he? Yeah. Go from that bottom position to a slam double like that is pretty impressive.
A Muay Thai and wrestling background for Suascoon. Again, Curtis coming from the world of wrestling himself. Had a kickboxing bout, went to a split decision alongside Aiden Egler in May. A really tough round to score as well when you're the judges, Andrew, as we go into the final 40 seconds of this round, because for the first half it was all Callan. For the second half it's been Suascoon.
Yeah, absolutely. If you mistake whatever he was doing for a submission attempt, maybe you lean more towards Nico, right? But yeah, definitely going to be a hard one to call. You could steal the round here at the end if Nico can just sit up, posture up, and land some good shots. But likewise, Curtis could too here with a late submission attempt, so we'll see. Feet up on the cage. Might use it to spin to an arm lock or just try to roll him over.
Fighting to pass that guard is Suaskun. Looks like he's not going to be able to do so. First 3 minutes, tale of two halves.
That is going to be a tough round. That could literally be either person's round. I have no clue. I'd maybe guess Nico won the round in the eyes of the judges because he did something cool on the bottom. But yeah, it could be anyone's game.
It's also tough to go back and corner because, hey, who won that round? We really aren't too sure as well. If you have rose-colored glasses, you might be saying you absolutely won that round, but might put them in a bad spot if you do go the full time.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think that it's difficult for me to say. Curtis obviously wants to grapple. I think that Nico would be wise to make Curtis grapple when Nico decides they're going to grapple, right? In that exchange, Curtis kind of decided that they were going to start grappling, so Nico needs to be maybe just a little bit more timid with how hard he comes in. Still come in hard, but be a little bit more reserved so that Curtis isn't able to grab him and throw him to the mat.
With that beautiful reversal, though, what kind of a message does that send to Curtis saying, hey, I'm game? That's something that Dalton Moon did not pose last July.
Yeah, 100%. It says, hey, once I get down here, the fight's not over.
Sure.
You got to really be about it. So it's good. And it's what you want to see. It's mixed martial arts, right? Like, these guys need to be well-versed in everything.
Top of round 2 for this matchup at bantamweight. Callan Curtis immediately gets back to the grappling. Suaskun with a beautiful scramble. Gets to the top, but the neck might be slightly wrapped up. Doesn't have his hand connected. Now trying to get that arm in. Not the best angle to be for Callan Curtis, but Andrew, not the worst either.
No, not at all. Curtis is really good from the bottom here. Like last time, he offered some good escapes. I'm interested to see if he's going to try, because he's obviously got more of a grappling approach. There it is, right? And then potential spin to the back here. Going for the guillotine once more. I've been really impressed with Nico's ability right there again, right, to counter these grappling exchanges with his own takedowns. He's done a really great job of that.
And Callan Curtis had that guillotine dead to rights, high up and cinched. Suaskun had different plans. Back into the guard we go. First 60 seconds of round 2 been all action.
Yeah, this has been a great fight so far. You know, it's crazy between the two of these guys. There's 3 fights. Right? Like, this is a pretty high-level fight already.
Again, Suaskun 1-1, made his debut in March of last year. Callan Curtis debuted here in Price in July of last year. 1-0, his record.
The evolution of amateur fighters in MMA is insane. I mean, this is what you would have seen from pros a decade ago. Like,
even since I've been calling fights in 2020, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
It's been staggering to see just lower level, harder to call the action because it was a little bit sloppy. Now they're so clean and concise.
Yeah, absolutely. Curtis looking for a Kimura here. Going to be pretty hard to finish and probably not going to get a sweep because they're up against the cage.
Tight and burrowed in. Suaskun now moves over to mount, trying to straighten out that arm, potentially peel it out, but Callan Curtis got a good grip on it.
A little bit of a mistake there by Curtis. He had the Kimura instead of the underhook, tried to get up on his knees and got his back taken for it.
Now a flattening out. Suaskun got some wind in his sails. Plenty of time to work. 45 seconds, round 2.
Hard for us to see from this angle how tight he is, but he's completely flattened out, which is a horrible spot to be in.
Suaskun does have a submission win. Can he do it again?
That is tight, and he's bridging.
Callan Curtis fighting valiantly, but Dave Selyestead says that's enough. Suaskun puts Curtis to sleep.
And then, you know, we were just talking about how these amateur fights have elevated so much. That was literally one mistake. Instead of having an underhook, he had a 2-on-1, a T-wrap, right? And he went to sleep for it.
Andrew, how impressive is that Callan Curtis was the one that emphatically started the grappling in both rounds. Nico Suascoon reverses positions, and with that, we've got a beautiful submission. Let's break it down really quickly, presented by our friends over at R&R Barbecue.
Yes, let's see where we start at here. So we're on the back. Curtis tries to roll here, but Nico does a really great job extending the hips, getting a nice bridge into his back.
Stretched him out.
Yep, stretched him out, had the arm underneath the neck. Curtis goes out on his shield, doesn't tap, but goes to sleep for his efforts. Nico goes to 2-1.
Unbelievable work by him, back in the win column. Again, it was 13 months away. It wasn't a great sophomore slate for him. He faced a buzzsaw in Nico Mascareñas, but makes right here in Price, Utah to move to 2-1. Likely his final camp with Excite MMA, Carson Hardman, alongside Mike Jones in their corner. What a way to close things out for his tenure with them. One of the most exciting fighters, especially on the grappling side of things, Andrew. Nico Suascoon always comes to mind.
Dude, he's impressive. He's an impressive fighter for sure. How old is he?
He is 20 years old, born February 2nd, 2005.
It's extremely impressive. All these young guys coming up, man, they're so good. It's crazy. And if you ever get a chance to go to an MMA gym, a good one that has a good kids program, that's even scarier when you see 8-year-olds doing that.
To 2-0 we go, or to 2-1, I apologize. Here's Jackson.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyustad has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by rear naked choke, Nico El Changuito Suascoon.
Prime Labs does so much to help out Fierce Fighting Championship. We'll cut to a short break with them, Dietrich Jessup and Brendan Myers, on the other side of this one.
Hey Fierce fans, Kibble Davis here with Prime Labs. We are now the official lab testing partner for all of Fierce Fighting Championships fighters. We provide a combat trio for all fighters across the Wasatch Front, as well as if you want to get in the best shape, like one of your favorite fighters, we provide many comprehensive blood panels. All you have to do is click on the link or text 385-645-7400.
Whether you're a fighter or just someone that wants to take charge of their own care and looking to address a lack of sleep, fat gain, or even muscle growth, Prime Labs has different panels for all financial situations. So please shoot us a text at 385-645-7400, scan the QR code, or please go to the website and come check us out.
Back live in Price, Utah, we continue on with our main card coverage. Callan Curtis, Nico Suascoon in the books. Suascoon, like you mentioned, Andrew, is impressive. I think we got the replay as well. I'm hearing it in my ear. Andrew, if you could break it down one more time for us.
Absolutely. Where are we going to start here? So on the back, Nico has his arms locked up. Curtis is going to try to roll. Nico takes advantage of that, starts bridging, extends Curtis's body into the choke. Curtis doesn't tap, so he goes to sleep, which I respect, by the way.
Excited to see him on a future Fierce card. Nico Suascoon now 2-1. Well, Dietrich Jessup and Brendan Myers have been tied to each other for years due to their action-packed debuts opposite one another in October of 2022. 3 years and 13 walks later, tonight, their paths cross yet again. Place of Fierce with fireworks forthcoming. This is Fierce Challenger Series.
I need everybody here inside Carbon County Event Center, from the seats in the back to the table seats, all the way down to cage side. Put your hands together and make some noise!
Enter the former Fierce FC title challenger, Brendan Myers. Consistency has been key for the ever-active flyweight out of Agema. But we've seen Myers improve from adversity. His first loss was followed by a 3-fight unbeaten streak.
Oh, wow. Dietrich Jessup coming from behind. He gets the win here tonight.
Back with a bang! It's Brendan Myers!
What a fantastic matchup.
Fierce fans, this next fight is a rematch, and it is sponsored by Accelerated Athletics. Follow the best athlete and product development company on Instagram and shop online for your combat gear, training apparel, and much more. Gear for greatness at Accelerated Athletics. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Dietrich Jessup and then Brendan Myers to the cage.
A little deja vu from his first win as Dietrich Jessup draws Brendan Myers here tonight. Andrew, so much growth over the near 3 years since they last met. 3 wins, a few losses as well, as he continues to cut his teeth into the amateur career.
No, you asked me earlier on in the night, and we got interrupted, so I didn't get to answer you. You said, which of the rematches am I more excited for, this one or Chloe Becker and Hannah Silva? And I have an answer for you.
Okay.
I'm more excited to see Hannah Silva because she's easy on the eyes, but as far as the fight is concerned, this is going to be a banger.
Dietrich Jessup, again, a rematch from October 2022. Andrew, it was a back-and-forth barrage of submission attempts, but Jessup finished it off inside 2 minutes with a slick guillotine.
Yeah, and it's really rare. I was saying before, it's really rare for guys, especially as amateurs, to be rematching. I guarantee you they're going to try to kill each other, dude. Like, this is going to be awesome.
Well, their stare down was so intense yesterday. I don't know if you saw the photo, but they were right up in each other's faces.
Yeah, because you got one guy who's won saying, I'm so damn good, I'll do it again. And then you have the guy who lost saying, you got lucky, right? That'll never happen again. So this is going to be a fun one.
What a matchup. We've got a couple of flyweight finishers. 7 of these 2's last 9 fights have concluded in the first round. Dietrich Jessup, Brendan Myers, both are all gas, no break type fighters. And like we talked about earlier with Ruben Rivera, they are cut from that exact same cloth.
Yeah, 100%. There's not really, they've already had their feeling out process. They fought each other, right? So they're going to come in here and they're going to get right after it once again.
100% finish rate for Dietrich Jessup, 75% of them by submission. The only man to ever submit Brendan Myers. He will wait for him to enter the cage. All right, another rematch in price for Provo's Brendan Myers. Andrew, the man who came up on the short side nearly 3 years ago, but had the upper hand in a lot of the exchanges.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he came out pretty strong, right, in that fight. So, yeah, this will be a good one. And, you know, as far as, like, the grappling, don't think of it as a deficiency because he got submitted. He's training with Dane, right? And if you don't know, I always say his last name wrong. Say his last name for me.
Aristizabal.
Aristizabal?
Yes.
Okay, I train with a lot of very high-level jiu-jitsu guys who have had their black belts since the 90s when there wasn't a whole lot of black belts to be had in the United States. When I say who is the best guy in jiu-jitsu, there's a couple of names that come up, but Dane's name is always on the list.
Yes.
Always. And so you know if he's training out there with Dane, say his last name again.
Aristizabal.
From Ajima MMA, you know he's going to come correct.
So this isn't new territory for Myers either, Andrew. Second rematch of his career. He is 1-0 in them. It was one of his biggest wins against Tony Garcia here in Price in July of 2023. A hard-fought battle which concluded with a triangle choke.
Yeah, I mean, so that right there tells you, right? Like, he's in these fights looking for submissions himself. So
excited to see Brendan Myers back in there. 42 seconds to floor Aaron Jennings in his last showing. He looks so good in there. First course of rematches tonight. Brendan Myers is the older man at 26 years of age. If we could pull up our tail of the tape. The height advantage strikes in the column of Jessup. Both parties weigh inside the lines of flyweight, and 15 fights when you combine these 2's resumes. Brendan Myers inside to sequence their story. We will go to Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, this rematch is sponsored by Accelerated Athletics. This fight is an amateur flyweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyastad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 4 wins and 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 124 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of the Vigilante Academy and One Hit MMA, hailing from Layton, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Dietrich Jessup. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 5 wins and 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 126 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Clovis, California. Fierce fans, make some noise for Brendan the Menace Myers.
Rematch 3 years removed. Brendan Myers throws in the red gloves. Dietrich Jessup looks for another win in the blue. This amateur flyweight bout is brought to you by Accelerated Athletics, athlete and product development based right here in Utah. Accelerated Athletics, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Dude, Brendan Myers got the Sakuraba shorts on. How awesome is that? Have you been watching MMA long enough? Do you know who that is?
Yes, I know who that is. Those are the same shorts he wore in the debut.
Dude, that's awesome. Respect to the 20-year-old for respecting his veterans and seniors. The Sakuraba shorts, the Saku shorts might give you like +5 to grappling, to be honest with you.
Both guys feeling each other out, not nearly as fast of a start as the debut. It was under 2 minutes. The two tie up. Myers with a nice knee, but Jessup floors the Agima fighter quickly.
That was a beautiful hip toss, and Brendan Myers on the bottom immediately looking for arm locks.
Loves to create offense from the bottom, catches the kick. Jessup able to get out of the fire.
It's already an awesome fight.
Nice teep to the midsection. Down is Myers as Jessup begins to pounce. Ground and pounding his way. Dietrich Jessup 2-0. No rematch necessary. Dietrich Jessup 5-3.
Wow, how about that? That was pretty cool at the end there, huh? Excellent fight for Derek Jessup, and his corner is fired up.
Dietrich Jessup ground and pounds his way. An unbelievable finish. We got it ready for you. Andrew, he rocked him, and that was about it.
Dietrich Jessup overhand right, steps in, drops him, puts him down, and just heavy ground and pound from the top. So fast, too. Look how many times he hit him. That was impressive, and a very good stoppage, by the way.
A great stoppage by him. Brendan Myers holding on to his left wrist. Oh, it might just be taken off the tape. It looked like he might have maybe had some sort of an ailment, but the moment belongs to Dietrich Jessup. Andrew, absolutely speechless.
That was
that finish.
Yeah, that was extremely dominant. He looked great.
Just about ready to go. We'll make it official with Jackson Hubs.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyastad has called a stop to this contest at 54 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Dietrich Jessup.
Dietrich Jessup, one fight number 1, and successful again in a similar fashion. TKOs his way to 5-3. Another rematch on the bend. Hannah Silva as well as Chloe Becker. We'll kick it to an ad with R&R Barbecue and be back with more Fierce Challenger Series 15 live from Price, Utah.
The pop when you come out here is so loud and it is so electric.
Being able to conjure up a crowd of fans.
The biggest card of the year.
Let's go.
Face first into the canvas. Muscle piece finishing blow.
That right hand was nuclear.
Sits him down and shuts him off. Linnell Woodhouse. Nasir Davis with a flashy finish.
This place is going wild for Justin Horsley.
He's been checking all the boxes, getting ready for this fight.
Head hunting in the debut.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's one of the top pros in the state right now.
Takes care of business here in Salt Lake City.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Just about ready to bring out Hannah Silva and Chloe Becker, but before that, Andrew, we got to take one more look at this finish by Dietrich.
Yeah, I want to see this overhand right here. Boom, the step in, overhand right. Beautiful, drops. And then comes in, the leg kick, and then just decides, you know what, we don't need to use jiu-jitsu. I'm just going to use blunt force trauma to the dome.
And solid awareness by him, too, to know that he was hurt because it wasn't a quick 1-2 knockdown. It was more of a stumble over anything else.
It wasn't totally apparent, and then he just poured it on, which was the right choice. And great stoppage, honestly, by the referee. It was like perfect stoppage, in my opinion.
Got to take a little bit of time before we move forward. But we do have some time to talk about the rest of this card. Drake Anderton, Chris Falau follow Hannah Silva and Chloe Becker. Andrew, obviously, your weight class, you are an amateur. People talk about you coming back all the time. What are you looking forward to between these two guys?
It's just always nice to see who the top of the food chain is in the division that you used to compete in or potentially could still compete in, right? I don't have, if I do come back, I only have one more amateur fight left before I go pro. I should have gone pro probably a decade ago, right? I'm the biggest sandbagger in the state. So it's just exciting to see who's the top of the food chain among the guys who are literally at the top of the food chain.
Another good one in front of us. Chloe Becker, Hannah Silva. Let's bring them out.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Komatsu. As a global leader for over a century, they design and manufacture equipment and solutions for the mining industry to answer the needs of society at Komatsu. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome the next rematch, Hannah Silva and then Chloe Becker to the cage.
She is such a familiar face to the Fierce fandom. Back for Fight 12 is Hannah Silva. Andrew, nearly 5 years invested into the amateur MMA career as she looks to notch her 4th win under the Fierce umbrella tonight.
Yeah, well, 11 amateur fights. It's a lot of fights. You know, typically you see people going pro. The old adage used to be you get 10 amateur fights and then you go pro. That's what it was when amateur fights first came out, right? Now it's all over the place because sometimes you guys have to make their pro debut or they make their amateur debut and everyone's like, yeah, you're not allowed to fight amateurs anymore, right? But sometimes we need a little bit more time, and, you know, we probably won't see, I don't know if you've asked her, but I doubt we see too many more amateur performances out of Hannah Silva going forward.
With this walk, she has more fights than any amateur female that's competed in Utah over the past 4 years. Jordan Ralston had 11. She now has 12 with this one. So impressive out of the fighter from St. George. Also, her first rematch for either coming into this one. When we talk about Chloe Becker, her dance partner, they matched up in Boise, Idaho in October of 2022. Silva submitted Becker in round 3 with a triangle. But like we've talked about throughout the broadcast, Chloe Becker has leveled up. So has Hannah Silva.
No, 100%. And I'm actually not really expecting a whole lot of grappling out of this matchup. I'm honestly expecting them to keep it on the feet and kind of figure out who's the best at kickboxing.
We do look back to Hannah Silva's last walk, 3 submission attempts in that Fierce walk against Casey Pierce, the final securing her a monumental comeback. Fresh off a first-round finish, she is becoming a force to be reckoned with. Here is Chloe Becker. Andrew, she has made some strides since we last saw her, now eyeing win number 3 in her last 4.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Team No Excuse coming out here from Nampa, Idaho with 2 female fighters on the card tonight. We know they're definitely going to be wanting to get into the win column after their first showing didn't go their way, obviously, so this will be exciting.
We see Virginia Rodriguez there in the back alongside Johnny Perez. Based off the eye test, and a little bit of film study as well for Chloe, she is so much more fluid on the feet than she was when she first faced Silva in her amateur debut in October of 2022. That all being said, you mentioned you don't think there's going to be a lot of grappling. Chloe might want to keep this one standing.
That would be my guess, and my apologies. I was getting fighters from different camps mixed up. Team No Excuse 1-0 with for the night.
Yes.
Isn't that correct? Yes. So wanting to take it to 2-0. Yeah, it looked like Team No Excuse. It looks like especially by the silhouette on the back of their shirts, which is a guy kicking. I would assume this is a gym that's more focused on striking. And yeah, as you mentioned, this might be the most aesthetically pleasing matchup of the night, Blake.
Her 7th amateur walk at just 21 years old. Very impressive, Andrew, when you think about just 3 years into being eligible to fight, already nearing the double digits.
Yeah, that's what that says, is that you take your career seriously, right? You're getting after it, you're doing it. You don't fight 6 times in that time span if you're like, oh, this is a hobby. That's not a hobby, right? That's like someone who says golf is my hobby and they go out golfing every single weekend for 8 hours. It's not a hobby, bro, right? So, yeah, this is cool. It's so much fun to see these fighters coming up.
All right, another flyweight rematch awaits. A 4-year age gap in this one. The slight height edge falls to Becker. Sub 126 for both sides. 3-3 the record for Becker. 6-5 for Silver. All right, cue cards in hand. Let's jump it to Jackson.
Fierce fans, this rematch is sponsored by Komatsu. This fight is an amateur flyweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 6 wins and 5 losses. She stands 5 feet 3 inches tall and weighing in at 123.5 pounds. Fighting out of St. George MMA, hailing from St. George, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for the former amateur flyweight champion, Hannah the Hyena Silva. And introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 3 wins and 3 losses. She stands 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighing in at 125 pounds. Fighting out of Team No Excuse, hailing from Kuna, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Chaos Chloe Becker.
Back in Utah is Chloe Becker, assigned to the red gloves. Hannah Silva returns fire in the blue. This amateur flyweight bout is brought to you by Komatsu, building machines to answer the needs of society. Komatsu, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Did I see Hannah Silva motion that she wanted a belt before this fight?
She's been calling for the belt for just about every fight since she lost it to Kelly McKay in 2023. Quick firefight starts things off. No feeling out process in the early going.
Yeah, Chloe's landed some shots here. Hannah didn't really have an answer for that at all. She sort of just stood there and got hit. Chloe looking good, man. Head movement while she comes on the inside.
Originally from a wrestling background, but definitely embraces those striking exchanges. Spins out of one. She had a lot of spinning attacks when they faced back in 2023, but Silva now attacks the back.
That was so fast, and she's in danger here. This is not good for Chloe Becker.
Silva trying for a 4th submission out of her 6 wins already.
Zach, that back take was so quick from the takedown.
Becker able to reverse the position. Again, Hannah Silva did triangle Becker in their first meeting. It was back in round 3, but also not too much time has passed in this fight, Andrew, so good on Becker to be able to reverse the spot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Super good, but I gotta think to myself, like, if you're Chloe Becker, you're thinking, okay, this girl took me down and then in 1 second went for a submission attempt, right? Although I will say, if there's one thing that works well against jiu-jitsu, it's punching someone in their face.
Some denting ground and pound posed by the Nampa, Idaho fighter. Silva always been able to absorb so much damage, and now trying to set up some sort of a submission.
That arm, oh, man, she pulled that out of there just in time. Hannah Silva trying to transition to the triangle here.
Becker privy to it, has dealt with this before, has nearly 9 minutes of cage time with Silva already.
Chloe Becker needs to get out of here. You are just playing with fire in this. She needs to stand up and just get out of here. It's just too dangerous. Hannah is just too comfortable on the bottom. Oh, she switches over into the arm. This is dangerous, man.
Tough spot to be. Not the best angle of it, but Hannah Silva trying to extend those hips and straighten out the arm. Becker does have 2 losses by submission. Both of them are by triangle.
Blake, you know how it is when you're grappling with someone with a dangerous guard. It's like a matter of time, right? Like, you can't hang out there too much. Hannah's coach is calling her. Oh, that's tight. That's tight.
Hannah Silva trying to put this one away.
Tapping. Wow.
Becker taps. Hannah Silva, another submission win. Another win in the rematch for Hannah Silva. Submission number 2 for her.
Hannah may have just collected an arm to the resume there as well. Becker in a lot of pain on the bottom. She went Russian, chest down to finish that arm lock, and
she tapped on the far side.
Yeah.
Dave wasn't able to see the tap, and so Hannah was peeling as much as she could. Becker
Make some noise for
clearly frustrated.
It's unfortunate, man, but when you have such an advantage, I just have to point this out because it looked like Chloe Becker had a massive advantage in the stand-up. You shouldn't just willingly engage with your opponent in the thing that they are best at, right? Sort of a strategic misplay there cost her the match. Might have cost her an arm. We'll see, but nonetheless, great job by Hannah Silva. Every single time the fight went into her wheelhouse where she wanted it, she was immediately like, oh, this is my win condition, right? Get to the back, go for the choke, get to the back, start spinning, looking for an arm. And here we see that. I'm interested to see when they go belly down here. She tried to roll through, cage was in the way. Tap, and then lets it go, but man.
When they get seriously injured, it's never the way you want to see it. So happy for Hannah Silva getting another win back-to-back for the first time in a while. But Chloe Becker back to the drawing board for her. A first-round submission for Hannah Silva will secure it.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyusted has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 41 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to an arm bar, Hannah the Hyena Silva.
Hannah Silva gets the win via arm bar. And with that, we have title fights on the other side of this message. Back with more, live from Price. Screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. 10 bouts in, 2 still to go, an amateur title and a pro debut for Jason Ergel alongside Hal Mitchell. Hannah Silva still inside the cage, speaking a little bit with her crew, also with St. George MMA, Brody College, Morgan College, her fiance. All smiles for her, and again, Andrew, so impressive to get a second straight victory. And with that, maybe we talked about her motioning for the belt, possibly in the cards for her now.
I mean, that was pretty awesome, right? Like, I love, in the middle of saying what a great takedown, and then she just immediately spun to the back, right? Like, it's just immediate offense. That's when jiu-jitsu's fun to watch. So often people get kind of they think they don't like to watch grappling, but they do. They want to watch that kind of grappling.
Title fight falls to the heavyweights, Chris Falau, Drake Anderton. Let's bring them out.
Fierce fans, 2 rematches in a row. Let's do a title fight. Our co-main event of the evening is sponsored by Intermountain Electronics. Founded in 1985, no one does custom, modular, and turnkey solutions that allow you to meet the demands of your critical infrastructure like Intermountain Electronics. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Chris Falau and then Drake Anderton to the cage.
Reincarnated, I'm a stargazer. Life goes on, honey, to all my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. I can't keep a
All right, so a trio of wins stage Chris Falau for his first ever title opportunity. Andrew, his finishing ability bids with the best of them as he stands across from a winning record for the first time in his career.
Yeah, Chris Falau's got some heavy hands. He hits hard, trains at Gladiator Fight Academy where they basically just train by fighting each other all of the time. So this should be a fun one. Always nice when you get the big boys in there.
Falau tied for the second fastest knockout in Fierce FC history at 9 seconds. 3 fighters have achieved that stat line. Spencer Woodland, Nick Lavulo, as well as that man, Chris Falau, getting it over a massive name a couple of years ago. And again, talking a little bit about Chris Falau, Andrew, he has just done it in such emphatic fashion. He's been able to knock guys out and put their lights out over anything else. He is such a possessor of power.
He's just one of those guys that just has it, right? Like, power is just one of those things. You can kind of train as much as you want, but if you can't hit hard, you can't hit hard, and if you can, you can. Chris Falau obviously can. And when you have that in your back pocket, you always have a way to win a fight, regardless of how much you're winning or losing by.
First walk since November 2024 was our first show at the Masonic Temple when he faced Daniel Lavulo. It ended a little bit anticlimactically, but he did land a solid blow to finish it off. He'll try to do it again alongside Drake Anderton. First fight at heavyweight since November 2021. Here is Drake Anderton. Andrew, a third straight title setting, looking to take home a second belt in a second weight class.
Yeah, and Drake Anderton is one of those guys where he has the skill set, like I talked about previously, between our other big boys of cruiserweights. He has that ability to grapple, right? And that can be a major trump card in the heavyweight division. I get it. Like, if you weigh north of 245 pounds, it's not fun to have guys on top of you that are also 245 pounds and having to get them off. So a lot of heavyweights will just not do it. It sounds crazy, but a lot of people in our sport just don't train that part. I mean, we have, I'm not going to say names, but there's a lot of pros in this state who don't do any grappling, right? And so you have to wonder, how much is Chris Falau training his grappling? And if Drake is able to implement his game plan, as much as Chris Falau's knockout power is a trump card, Drake Anderton's grappling might be just as much, if not more, of a trump card.
It's been a sore spot for Falau when talking about the grappling, and Drake Anderton shot in the first 28 seconds the last time we saw him. So these styles certainly collide in a great way. Drake Anderton, out of Agima, 22 years of age. His dad, David Anderton, is a former high-level fighter and training partner of Drake's current coach and UFC welterweight, Court McGee. Another title fight for him, slinging in the red gloves. Not to mention, when we talk about them with our tail of the tape, Chris Falau, 6 years older than his opposition tonight. He is 28. Same stature for the two title contenders, but a staggering 22.5 pounds separate them on the scales. 4-1 for Anderton, 3-1 for Falau. Big fight on hand to set the table is Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Intermountain Electronics, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyustad. This fight is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds for the Fierce Fighting Championship Amateur Heavyweight title. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 3 wins and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 260.5 pounds. Fighting out of Gladiator Fight Academy, hailing from Rose Park, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Chris Falau. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 4 wins and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 238 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Provo, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Drake the Destroyer Anderton.
All right, boys, we've been over the rules in the locker room already. Just going to go over those big ones again. Stay off the top. Back of the head, neck, and spine. Keep your fingers out of the cage. Still an amateur fight, so the only thing that strikes the head is either a punch or a kick. Got it? Touch them up. Let's have a good fight.
Another title fight for Drake Anderton. In the red gloves, Chris Falau looks for a 4th straight tonight. This amateur heavyweight title bout is brought to you by Intermountain Electronics, dedicated to providing the best service with custom solutions, quick turnaround time, and the highest level of quality control. Nobody does it better than Intermountain Electronics, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Slow and methodical here. Chris Falau looking for his shot. He knows he can end it with one shot.
That ad read had to be read so fast because you know the kind of leather these two are swinging as Anderton throws a big right.
God, Chris Falau strong, huh?
Most certainly is. Nice knee
I like the
to the
punch
inside
to the
thigh.
leg. How about that? Benson Henderson style, huh?
Did you know he invented calf kicks?
He did. No one's ever done this before. He invented that move. Gordon Ryan also invented leg locks. I like the pace that Chris is fighting at.
Calm and composed.
Yeah. Scary, to be honest with you. Ooh, good one, too.
260.5 pounds on the scale, juxtaposed with 238 for Anderton, the smaller fighter in there tonight.
I do think that Drake is the more dynamic fighter. I think he has more avenues of which he can win. This weight class, that doesn't always matter.
Nice chop to the body for Anderton. Initiates some grappling for him. Falau is floored.
That was a beautiful entry, and he hit the mat hard.
And again, like we talked about during the walkout, Andrew, this is the spot in which Drake needs to put the fight in order to get his hand raised and head home with another belt.
100%. He is probably winning the striking exchanges, but the problem is when you're with a guy like Chris that can hit that hard, it's almost like what we were saying with Hannah Silva, right? It's a matter of time before you get hit with something big.
Anderton, though, trains out of Agema. His first fight in Utah. The majority of them have been in Idaho up to this point.
Chris is doing some good stuff here. He may be able to recover his guard, but Drake steps over and gets right to full mount. Potential head and arm choke. Yep, potential head and arm choke here.
Not a great spot to be. Limited real estate over in the corner of the cage.
Yeah, this sucks. And this is pretty dangerous. He is close to the cage, but Drake just locked his hands up, and now it's even more dangerous. This could be the beginning of the end here for Chris Falau.
Falau seems cool and composed, but softening up the body is Anderton.
Yeah, Chris is doing a good job of kind of hanging tight here. He needs to be careful not let his arm get in too bad of a position.
Not a lot of time, but Falau now starting to try to strip out a little bit. Got the tap. Drake Anderton, another championship win, headed home with some hardware.
Man, that was dominant. That was dominant. He came out. He landed the better shots. Got the fight to where he wanted it to be and imposed his game, got a submission.
Drake Anderton wasn't successful in the light heavyweight fight for a title in March. Comes up a weight class and impressively finishes a guy who seemed like a problem for everyone, still is, but Drake Anderton, the man on top tonight.
It's funny because from light heavyweight to heavyweight is not necessarily the same thing as going from 55 to 170, right? The guys at 70 a lot of times are just as good as the guys at 55, they just hit harder. I wouldn't say that's the same thing is true for 205ers and heavyweights, right?
So waning seconds of round one, Andrew.
Yeah, so head and arm choke here, and Chris tries to turn, and he turns into the choke. Just makes it tighter. I'm sure Drake's got a nasty squeeze, right? So good on him there, gets the win. Impressive performance in front of his dad and his coaches. Honestly, all Drake Anderton, he controlled the whole fight. He looked great.
That is now 5-1 for Drake Anderton. 2-0 when above that light heavyweight rim. That now moves to 3. Sometimes guys are just a little bit better when they're heavier. Drake Anderton might be one of those guys.
1,000%. We've seen time and time again at heavyweight the guys who tend to dominate 235, 245, right around that weight range. We saw that tonight.
To belt the winner, we're going to go inside to Jackson.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyestead has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 47 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to a head and arm choke, and new undisputed heavyweight champion, Drake the Destroyer Anderton.
Drake Anderton got another belt. How you feeling, my man?
Feel great. I want to thank my opponent first off. My last opponent was kind of a jerk. This guy, he does it right. He's quiet, weighs in, wants to go scrap. I think we need more of that. So appreciate my opponent, and I want to thank my coaches for the game plan, for my teammates and coaches for getting me set up, and all my family and friends who supported me. I don't know where the live stream is, but I know you guys are watching. Love you guys. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who showed up. So glad to come home with a belt, and I feel good.
5-1 for the GEMO's heavyweight, Drake Anderton. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him.
Hey, what's going on, Price, Utah? Paul Jensen here. I'm bringing my monster trucks to Price, Utah, September 13th. 1,600 horsepower, 12,000 pounds of car-crushing madness coming straight at you. Get your tickets, monstertruckmilitia.com, or you can get them here tonight at the Fierce Fighting Championships at the Rockwell booth.
Well, it all comes down to one. There are two big names fonted on this card. It is Jason Ergel and Hal Mitchell. They will be the final two to make the walk at professional 180 pounds. Andrew, we've been talking about this one all night. Jason Ergel has really swelled his stock in recent years. Got a big submission over Bane Barnard here last year. That seemed like a turning point for him. As for Hal Mitchell, he's moving up a couple of weight classes, but seems confident.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you don't take the fight unless you think you can win, right? So, but man, he's got a big task ahead of him tonight. Would you say a 9-inch height advantage?
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild, right? That's got to be one of the biggest in Fierce history. Can you think of a bigger one?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, no.
Was his name Danny Castillo that fought Kent Mafaleo?
Yes.
That was a pretty big one, too, but this even more so than that.
Excited for it. Final fight of Fierce Challenger Series 15. Let's jump it over to Jackson and get it started.
Fierce fans, our main event of the evening is sponsored by R&R Barbecue. With their savory menu and catering options, their recipes, spice rubs, barbecue sauces, and smoking techniques will leave you full with every meal at R&R Barbecue. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome our final two fighters, Hal Mitchell and then Jason Ergel, to the cage.
Well, it's always fun for as long as it lasts when Hal Mitchell makes his walk to the cage. Andrew, he's jumping up nearly 3 weight classes for this main event assignment, but it seemed like there was not a note of discomfort with that decision.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man. What did Hal's amateur career look like?
He was 6 fights between 2023 and 2024. He was 3-3, 2 wins by submission. All of his losses also by submission.
That's interesting to see an independent fighter with his wins by submission, right? Kind of curious, but we'll have to see what happens here. Certainly looks like he's in good shape.
Most certainly is. Actually, interestingly enough, this is the heaviest he's ever been by far, 179.5 on the scale last night. Previously it was 155.5, but claims he has been bulking this camp. He cut 7 pounds yesterday when he's typically a featherweight.
That's crazy, man. And they're fighting at 180 pounds tonight?
Correct.
That's wild. What's the story behind 180 pounds? Isn't Jason typically fight at 175?
I believe it was just kind of a later matchup made, and so for that reason, Hal was saying, I'll come up to have Jason compete for his pro debut here in Price in front of his hometown crowd. 2 minutes and 26 seconds of cage time in his last 5 fights combined for Hal Mitchell. Andrew, doing the math at home, 29 seconds per matchup he averages out.
Do or die, brother. Suicide mission, right?
Hal Mitchell, his 4th fight since he returned from a 10-year hiatus of MMA, 1-2 in his time back, looking to get his first professional win. Same can be said about his opponent, Jason Ergel, as the independent out of Utah enters inside and will await the Price favorite.
Laser focus. Enter the Fierce FC amateur middleweight champion, Jason Ergel.
Jason made it look easy in there that night. He looked so dominant.
There's the tap! Jason Ergel just too good, successful in his first title defense.
And still the undisputed middleweight champion, Jason Ergel.
Well, he has hit his stride just in time to make the pro debut, and Price, here is Jason Ergel. Andrew, red hot headed out of the amateur career, winning 5 of his last 6, 4 of them in succession.
Yeah, and he's an extremely competitive kid. I know that he wants to get out here and have a good showing. This is important for him. This is a really, really important moment for him because he's had a good amateur career, right? I know Steve's been really grooming his son, making sure that he's picking the right matchups at the right times. The right time is so important, right? And it's good to have a manager being your dad because they actually care about you, right? So this is a big moment for him. And, in a lot of ways, there's so much more pressure on Jason, right? Because it's like, dude, let's be honest, he's expected to win. People around here are expecting him to win. And that's really hard sometimes. That happens to me in all my fights. Everybody expects you to win, and then it's all this extra pressure from outside sources.
No, the shoulders are definitely a little bit heavier, especially fighting out here. Last year didn't get as much of a pop, but now he's well established in this community. You heard it when he came out, when they played his music. People want to see Jason Ergel make the walk.
1,000%. Absolutely they do. I mean, he's the son of one of the biggest gyms out here, right?
The biggest, for sure.
The biggest. Okay,
yeah.
So there you go. You want to hear how competitive Steve is? Jason and I have a common opponent in Caden Bentley, right? He came up to me after I beat Caden. Jason also beat Caden, and got mad at me and said, "You think that your fight was better than Jason's?" And I was like, "I didn't say anything, dude."
All right, final tale of the tape tonight. A dozen years separate the men on the marquee. Ergel towers over Mitchell by 9 inches at 6'5". A hard-fought 180 flat for him. Mitchell, half a pound under, as both bid for their first professional wins. Got a good one in front of us to trigger the action. Here's Jackson.
Fierce fans, this is your main event. This fight is sponsored by R&R Barbecue. This fight is a professional 180-pound catchweight bout, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyastad. Now, one more time, I need everybody tuning into the pay-per-view and everybody here in the Carbon County Event Center in Price, Utah, from the seats in the back to the table seats all the way down to cage side. Put your hands together and make some noise! Introducing the first fighter fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 0 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighing at 179.5 pounds. Fighting as an independent fighter, hailing from Salt Lake City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Hal Stay Down Mitchell! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding a professional, making his professional debut. He stands 6 feet 5 inches tall and weighed in at 180 pounds. Fighting out of Fierce MMA and Empire MMA, hailing from Price, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for the former Fierce Fighting Championship amateur middleweight champion, Jason Ergel!
right, boys, have been over the rules and lock 'em already. Just going to go over those big ones again and stay off the top, back of the head, neck, and spine, and keep your fingers out of the cage. Got it? Touch them up. Let's have a good fight.
Pro debut for the 22-year-old Jason Ergel, taped up in the red gloves. Hal Mitchell responds in the blue gloves. This 180-pound catchweight bout is brought to you by R&R Barbecue, 9-time Utah's best barbecue team and still the best to ever hit you in the lips. R&R Barbecue, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Hal Mitchell looked across at Jason and said, "No glove touch."
In the past, he's typically faked a glove touch, but cracked Ergel there, able to find the back, is the prize fighter.
It's probably a wrap. There
Got the tap, Jason Ergel, 5 straight and a shutout in the pro debut. A lot of jubilation on their side. Seemed like the nerves were high to face a guy like that. Pro debut one, successful via submission. Jason Ergel, what else is new, Andrew?
As soon as it hit the mat, I was sort of like, all right, that's a wrap. Because, every time Jason gets there, he ends up strangling somebody. I will say, Hal came out hot and looked like he was landing some decent shots. I was a little bit worried there for a moment.
On the exchange, he cracked him with that overhand right for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And a guy that's that compact is definitely going to hit hard, especially when they're just throwing as hard as they can and everything. Here's the replay. Yeah, just swung a little bit too much out of his boots. Jason takes advantage and immediately locks in the rear naked choke.
And it was a quick tap as well by Mitchell. It looked like it hurt. I'm always curious when looking at people who win by submission, but how fast the opposition taps, because that tells a story as well.
No, it absolutely does. When you see somebody panic tapping immediately, it means what's happening to them is horrible, right? Or on the other side, we have an independent fighter. They don't grapple very much.
Fair point is Jason Ergel. Again, 5 straight, 6 out of his last 7. He is about to become a 1-0 pro.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyustad has called a stop to this contest at 14 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to rear naked choke, Jason Ergel!
Jason. 14 seconds. That is now 6 out of your last 7, and you are 1-0 as a pro. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. I can't even lie.
Tell me a little bit about the matchup. It was only a few seconds. Hal Mitchell caught you coming in, but you were able to capture the back and come away with another submission.
Yeah, I felt like we had a pretty good exchange on the feet for the first few seconds. He caught me with a pretty good overhand, and then I just saw the back, so I just jumped out and took the neck.
Jason, I remember last year you submitted Bane Varner in this very cage at this event at the Carbon County Event Center. That one meant so much to you. This one being your inaugural pro fight, how does it feel to get that win over the hump?
It feels amazing, man. I know how hard I've worked for this, and just how much work I put in, and all the blood, sweat, and tears that I poured into all my fight camps. And so just to keep winning like this, and especially to get a good pro win in my pro debut, make a statement like that, it means everything to me.
I know you said you want to take a little bit of a break. You've been very active over the past 9 months or so. What's the plan for you moving forward, and when can we see you again?
Like I said, right now I want to take a little bit of time off. I'm really hoping to maybe get back in here around start of next year, maybe winter or spring.
Price, Utah, he got it done. Give it up for Jason Ergel.
Hey guys, real quick. First off, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Second, I want to thank all of my sponsors that have helped me throughout all my training camps. Speedy Inc. I don't know where you guys are at, but thank you guys. Love you guys. If you guys are out in the North Ogden area, go check out Speedy Inc. for some good tattoos. I want to thank my sponsors at Los Aviles Concrete. Thank you guys. You guys have supported me ever since my first fight here, and I will just thank you guys so much. I want to thank FST Filtration. Thank you guys. And thank you to Michelle Knight Realty and TMS Trees. Thank you guys for your sponsorship. I love you guys. And I want to thank my manager over at Roman Athletic Institution. You have been with me this entire way, so thank you. Thank you guys for coming out. Huh? What? Oh. And one more thing. Thank you to Relentlessly Fit Nutrition. Appreciate you. You helped me get dialed in for this weight cut and for this camp. Thank you guys.
One more time for Jason Ergel. Everybody in Price, Utah, you guys have a great night. Be sure to be there at the Maverick Center in August. Fierce fans, make some noise!
So that is 5 straight for Jason Ergel as we welcome you into the Fierce Challenger Series 15 post-fight show presented by R&R Barbecue. Blake O'Ruin alongside Andrew Boquette. Andrew, a great night of fights. So many names populate on this card. We had 10 debuters, and a lot of them shined in a big way. Yeah,
a lot of finishes tonight, which is what we want, right? Super exciting night from the top to the bottom. We had a lot of guys who were like amateur fighters. It did not look like amateur fighters tonight, did they?
Not whatsoever. Hal Mitchell, I think of him, a 10-second finish alongside a 14-second finish in the pro debut for Jason Ergel, who just got it done as well. A massive show done in Price, Utah. 12 fights. Beginning of the show was a little bit slower than the end of the show, but happy to get it all finished up. And also have Drake Anderton, the new heavyweight champion. Andrew, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that was a phenomenal performance. I mean, as far as a guy like Drake who has a skill set like he has, fighting a guy with the skill set that Chris has, he did it perfectly. Like, that's exactly how you wanted to do that. Land your shots, but don't stay there and take snapshots so that Chris can land a bomb on you, take him down, and then finish the fight. It was perfect. It was really well done on his part.
This one's in the rearview mirror. August 16th, the biggest card in Fierce Fighting Championship history. Andrew, we talked about it for a second when we were in a commercial break. How stacked is this card? So many people are looking forward to it. The return of Joel Haro alongside Justin Horsley in the mothership of Fierce Fighting Championship, the Maverick Center.
It literally, in my opinion, this is the best card that Fierce has ever put on. This is the biggest, the best card. We were speaking earlier about how we were doing so many Maverick Center shows that we were kind of just filling them, right? Like all these guys. This is not that. This is the first time we've been there in how long?
A year. It'll
like
be exactly a year.
And I'm sure you know, I hear about it all the time from Zach. There have been fighters just clamoring, please let me get on, please let me get on. And there's been a lot of no's because the people who are there that got the yeses are special fighters.
Cannot wait for it. Tickets are on sale right now at FierceFightingChampionship.com. That'll close things up for myself and my broadcast partner, Andrew Boquette, for all of us here at Fierce Fighting Championship and Pats Media. Final time tonight, Andrew Boquette, Blake O'Ruin saying so long from Price, Utah.